Yeah, the stream is starting. I just don't see the chat. That is not funny. Four people on YouTube already. Wow. All right, guys. We are starting in a minute. All right, let's get started. Okay, let's get started. All right, I need to turn this off. Guys, give me a second. I see everything double right now. Chat overlay. Okay, that doesn't work. I need to find out how to get my chat over here. This never happened to me. I don't see my chat. Okay, this is funny. I see it here on screen, but that is not good. I need to get my chat out somehow. Anyway, good morning, everyone. First of all,
welcome, my friend.
First of all, IAE. Yeah, I need to find out how to, in the audience and both in chats. Yeah, let me introduce first what we are doing today. So this is IAE 2953. We start today a little bit earlier. The live stream from Star Citizen starts officially 10 o'clock. And hey, 𝗙𝗵𝗁𝗃𝗂𝗏. I don't know, today my stream is not working, my chat is not working, but yeah, I don't know, I don't see my chat window. I need to try to find out how to get this chat window somewhere out. Let me just find out how to do this. Chat. Without this, I don't want to see that stream. That is so funny. Why is that? That is weird. I have to see the stream chat. Without stream chat, this doesn't make sense. It's white. It's a white window. It doesn't show up. This is crazy. Hi, chat. I see the chat here on that little window. I just don't know how to get it out. This is insane. Never happened to me. Why today? Okay, I will put this here. Maybe this will help. Okay, take this window out. All right, I think I see it now. Craig and my friend, can you maybe write something in the chat? Yes, test. Wonderful, I see it now. Perfect. Yeah, it's not really perfect, but I see the chat now. All right. Awesome. Anyway, let's go. All right. So here's the thing. The first thing we do today, and anyway, welcome everybody. It's a little bit confusing today because my chat window is not working. I see it now. The camera. What is with the camera, Mace? Welcome anyway. So the first thing I want to do is I will go to my Discord. And I can show you Discord here in a second. This is our Discord, and we have Kraken here, and Kraken will start with me. We'll go through our fleets today for 1 hour until we have 1 hour until we start officially the Star Citizen stream on Twitch. The big start is happening 10 o'clock my time, Central Time. Not sure what is your time, guys. But yeah, we will start. I'll invite Kraken to speak, and I will see if that works.
Testing, testing.
Testing, testing. Can everybody hear Kraken? Can you say something, Kraken?
Testing, testing.
Yes, it works fine. Awesome. Kraken, first of all, welcome to my channel. That's the first time we actually speak in audio. Usually you're always right in chat. But this is the first time. Welcome. You are a very valuable member to my stream and to my community because you are very, very familiar with all the ships in Star Citizen, right?
A decent amount of them.
A decent amount. Oh my gosh. Yes, he is in my opinion, a professional. He knows a lot about Star Citizen, even though he's a fairly new player when it comes to playing the game. I mean, he pledged way back, right? Grant, can you tell a little bit about your Star Citizen history?
I pledged $45 back in 2012 on Kickstarter. And then I knew it was going to be a few years at least. So I kind of stopped looking into it. And then the years went by. I got into other things. Didn't really pay too much attention. Some friends tried to get me into it, but I said it's... I was bitter, so I was like, it's vaporware. It's not really a game. That's BS. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah, for like a while, and some friends kept trying to get me, and I just kept saying no. And then I was watching a buddy for like a month, streaming and playing it, and I was just like cracking jokes about how terrible things are and how it's a perfect game with no bugs. And then Starfield was going to come out in a month. And I was like, I can't not play a space game right now. So I decided, screw it, I'm going to go ahead and come in. But I didn't want the Aurora, so I immediately turned it into a freelancer 𝗘 because it looks sort of like the Serenity.
Okay.
And jumped in, and then I was just hooked, fell in love.
Okay. All right. Well, and a few years turned into a decade. MTKs just wrote on stream chat. Yep, it's 10 years. When you look back, it's actually not a long time. It goes by quick, right?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely goes by quick when you're not thinking about it.
Yeah,
but I feel like I came in at probably the best time possible. Because it's been like back-to-back updates since I've started. And I feel like, and I know it's just coincidence, because obviously they didn't single me out or anything, but like a lot of the things that I am really looking forward to are the things they're actually actively working on right now. And a lot of the gameplay loops that I've been enjoying are the ones they're actively working on and only came out in like the last year.
Yeah.
So if I'd started like a year or two ago, I would have gotten discouraged and probably taken off.
Yeah. Yeah, I hear you. I mean, I just started 2 years ago, so, totally different story, but very interesting. Let's have a look at your fleet, because this is why we are here. And I think you have a very interesting fleet, and the way you approach your fleet is very interesting as well. So let me turn this on here. I will take my camera away It should be now on stream, your fleet. And before we continue, I have a banner on top of the screen for the next, well, how many days is it? IAE. I will show you guys, if you're coming live to my stream, I will show you the actual war bonds available on the Star Citizen website, on the RSI website. I will update this banner every day as they change it. But also I have a fun part, and Greg can test it already. If you purchase a ship, you can make yourself, heard by typing in !ship, and then you basically type in what ship did you buy if you bought a ship, and it will appear in chat, in stream, and there will be some audio as well playing, and until the next chatter is writing something. But yeah, so this is just for fun. It should not encourage you guys to buy ships. Oh, wow. So someone purchased the Death Star. That is awesome. Oh, Kraken, that was you. Anyway, so tell me a little bit about your fleet, Kraken. It's very interesting because you have categories and you tell me, how did you start? What was your first ships and how did you develop that? And what is the plan for the future?
So I started with an Aurora.
Okay.
A lot of people do. Turned it into the Freelancer tour, like I said. And then I hated the view out of the Freelancer tour. It's just a mailbox view or whatever it's called, mail slut. So I just hated it, and I immediately wanted something else. So I picked up a Cutlass Black because a buddy of mine had a Cutlass Blue, and I was just loving that thing. And then I turned the Freelancer tour into a Prospector.
Okay.
And that began my love of mining, which turned into exploring the other industrial paths. So I have the Arastra I'm going to be getting. That's my mining ship because the Orion is just too big in my opinion. I can't wait for the Expanse to do the refining with some prospectors. The Galaxy's going to have the refinery module, so that was a no-brainer. I also absolutely love medic stuff. I've played a healer in every single MMO I've ever played. And I've played a medic class in all FPSs that I've played.
Okay.
So the Apollo is just perfect. The C8R is perfect. And I love the fact that the C8R works as the medical snub in the medical Galaxy. The only thing that would make it better is if that 𝗓𝗏 that they showed is a medical 𝗓𝗏, and then I will definitely get that and throw it in the Galaxy.
Yeah.
And then as I've seen the explanations of repair and mechanic stuff, I like the Crucible is just a no-brainer. It's still its initial price. It's going to be able to repair any size ship in the game, and it's just the inside of that thing is so beautiful based on the that they showed us.
Yeah,
so,
that's true.
And then I'm not as into salvage as I am into mining.
Why is that? Why do you think is that?
I like the mini game of the mining more.
Okay.
For salvage, I'm more into the cargo aspect of it. So I don't mean like the current gameplay loop. I mean in the Reclaimer, I'm usually the one down taking the boxes and putting them in the cargo hold.
Okay.
So I let someone else do the paint simulator or the power wash simulator, whatever it is. And then I do that stuff. And
okay.
So if they come out with something between the Vulture and the Reclaimer, I will probably end up turning the Reclaimer into that instead.
Yeah. So you own the Reclaimer. What triggered you to buy the Reclaimer? If you are not actually in set. Yeah.
It's actually going to be an upgrade at IAE. So I was going to have the Caterpillar, and it's not a massive jump from the Caterpillar to the Reclaimer. And since I decided to go down from the Odyssey, which was one of the things I was going to get, to the Liberator, and the Liberator has 400 SCU of storage, I figured I don't need the Caterpillar as much. I've got the modularity covered with the Galaxy. So the one thing I'm missing out of my industrial thing in order to feed my Crucible the materials it needs to repair is the Reclaimer.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that makes sense. And as everybody can see right now, Kraken really puts a lot of thought into his fleet, and he also thinks already about, what's happening after the release of the game, and what kind of gameplay loops might be coming, and how would they work, even the economy. So he puts a lot of thought into his fleet, what ship he needs to, support other ships. And this is what I really like about your fleet and the way you're thinking. I'm not that way, absolutely not. I've never thought about future game loops and what I would need, what kind of ship I would need to support another ship. But I think as we see the changes now, even with the outpost development coming up next year, which will be not released, I think, next year, but they are starting to work on it next year, CIG, that we can create our own outposts. I think it also makes sense to think about that. And, you need materials to build outposts. You need to refine, you need to mine, and hopefully the game economy actually triggers also certain, decisions by players to, refine or salvage or mine. I think we both can agree on that if outpost development is coming in, that will trigger also changes in our fleets, correct?
Theoretically, it depends on how you want to approach it. I mean, a lot of people might go more toward the keeping their fleet simple to only the things they want, and then rely on their org in order to be able to do the outpost building and just support people.
Yeah.
And it might not change things. The people who want to build their own outposts and, maybe get the _Galaxy construction module, or if they want to go as high as the Pioneer, and if they're lucky enough to get it, if they do that, then yeah, they're probably going to have to factor that into their overall fleet plan. But if you're already planning on doing that, you've probably already got enough money into ships that you're going to be covered.
Yeah. Well, what do we know about the Pioneer? We only know that it's in concept, and it's for sale, and it's this limited haul sales doing IAE. I think it's only three times they sell it next week. I don't have the schedule here, but we don't know when it's coming out. We have no idea how the end product will look like. So I always tell people, be careful. That is a very expensive ship. We don't even know when it's coming out. It could be in 4 years. It could be in 5 years. It could be in 2 years. We don't know. But what do you think about the development of the Pioneer? Do you think it will still take a couple of years until this is coming out? Or do you think they're going to release it with the Outpost gameplay?
I would assume that the Outpost gameplay will come with the small surveyor they showed, with the truck that they showed, and with the Galaxy construction module.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to go with the Pioneer right away. They might as well continue to test the Outpost stuff, make sure that everything's working on a small to medium to large scale before going extra large. Because I honestly don't know how much the Pioneer is going to make. It's going to make really, really big things.
Yeah.
So they might as well test out the process and make sure everything's in order before they do that.
Mm-hmm.
And they can have people working on the construction side of it that don't have to worry about ships, besides maybe how they'll integrate into it a little bit, and then the ship teams already have their hands full with a lot of stuff. So
that is true. Yeah,
it's such a big ship. I don't see it coming before the RSI lineup is done.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if Pioneer's going, or if the Consolidated Outland is going to be the next one they're going to work on, because they only have that one big ship. So
yeah.
I don't know if they're going to add more ships in there to make it worthwhile to work on multiple,
Mm-hmm.
or what.
Yeah. Well, and here's the thing. I mean, you have different ships for outpost building, right? You have the Galaxy, and then you have the truck, as you said, and then you have the huge Pioneer, which is basically a flying construction mobile unit. So I assume you can only build certain things with the Galaxy, with the truck, and then of course with the Pioneer. And if you want to basically reach all your goals when it comes to outpost building, you actually would have to have the Pioneer, if you want to, have all the opportunities. What do you think about that?
You're definitely going to need the Pioneer in order to have everything available to you, because they've already said that the Pioneer will make extra large things and above. And I highly doubt that you're going to be able to make just smaller versions of everything.
Mm-hmm.
There's probably going to be some things that are going to be 100% locked behind Pioneer.
Yeah.
Otherwise, what's the point of spending that much money on that ship if people can make essentially the same thing on a smaller scale?
Yeah.
I think there'll be a mix of both. There'll be plenty of things that will span across different sizes and have similar functions, but just larger scope at the larger sizes. And I think some things are just going to be flat out blocked off, especially since they did mention something about potentially being able to make stations. And I highly doubt the Galaxy would be able to do that.
I did not know that. Really?
I think I'd have to go back and rewatch it, but I believe they hinted at being able to potentially build things in space as well.
Stations. Wow.
I could be misremembering, but I know I've heard people bringing that up multiple times since they supposedly said it. So
yeah,
it's possible. But yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see.
Yeah, and so I saw you already planning to purchase the new alien ship. It's already on screen, as well as the 𝗬𝗏. If you guys don't know, the 𝗬𝗏 is actually the new mining ship. We had some leaks already. That's why we know how it looks like, and we know the name. So, but you are planning on having the Raylan, how is the name? Cylon? It is a little cargo ship, correct? What do you think will be the price, and why did you decide to purchase the ship? Because if you look to your fleet, there is no alien ship. It's all industrial, is all transport, but then you have this one alien ship.
Well, actually, I did update to 2 alien ships now because I just love the 𝗬𝗏 so much from what we've seen, and the Raylan was on my radar, but it wasn't something I was 100% sure on. I was thinking I'd probably go hull B instead, but 𝗬𝗏 looks so good, and if the Raylan is a larger version of that, then it's just going to be great.
Yeah.
So I'm not a massive fan of alien ships. I might be now, but I wasn't a massive fan of alien ships. I prefer the more human stuff. Like, I like Misk's incorporation of some alien tech, but I think I just prefer the idea of what we can do in the far future.
Yeah.
And not necessarily be so ridiculously outlandish of looking at the complete sci-fi of the alien stuff. That said, when I saw them go inside the 𝗬𝗏 in the video, I got really strong 𝗗𝗏𝗿𝗲 vibes from Stargate SG-1. And I all of their tech was stolen, so it wasn't technically 𝗗𝗏𝗿 stuff. And it didn't look one-to-one at all. But there were just some shapes and some materials and some things that I saw that I was like, oh, this looks awesome. This looks like something they stole.
Yeah.
So I'm very excited about that. And you can't deny, like, the cathedral look of the top looks amazing. The lighting is great. They did a really good job with that ship. And I'm looking forward to all the weird jankiness that comes from the Gravlev stuff. So we'll have to see how that works.
Yeah. Are you not concerned at all about the informations they gave us in the new video that landing and flying is totally different?
I mean, it'll be interesting. It'll be a different experience. I mean, if I'm going to use my alien ships, I'm going to take them out because I want something different. And that's definitely going to be something different.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Then we have the Zeus on your list as well. But you decided only to go with one variant, right? Many people actually buy the whole pack. Three different variants are available actually for sale as one pack. But you decided on the Clipper, which is the cargo variant, correct?
If you look in the bottom left, there's actually the other two in the miscellaneous
Oh,
category.
yeah, I see them now. True. You squeezed that. You made changes to the fleet yesterday, and you squeezed that alien ship in between. So, okay, all right.
Yeah, it was the 𝗏𝗏 previously, so it didn't break it up quite as much as the Raylan does.
Yeah, I mean, many people are a little bit disappointed now about a Taurus because of the tractor beam and the way you have to use the tractor beam. So we know tractor beams are just came into the game, and we have some issues with it. But I think they're gonna work on it, and hopefully there will be cameras or something where you can see the cargo area and actually know what you're doing.
Yeah, it would be nice. I mean, currently, well, I tested it in the PTU. I didn't test it in live, but there's only one level of zoom on the tractor beam in the bottom of the Taurus, as opposed to like the multi-levels of zoom in the other turrets. And with that 174 SCU and the extended body, that one level of zoom's not great to determine that you're fully lined up on the very back of the ship. Also, there's almost no clearance between the top box and the bottom of the ship, so it's really annoying to have to stack things in there. I went out to a mining outpost, bought everything I could to fill it up, and then I just sat there on the pad, pulling everything out and putting things back in.
Okay.
And it was not a fun experience. I think I'd rather do it with like the rifle version of the tractor beam.
Yeah.
Or with maybe like with a little vehicle or something. So I don't know. I'm on the fence. I'm always going to come back to a constellation. I just need to find out which constellation resonates best with me. It's probably not going to be the Taurus at this point, just because I have so much cargo covered.
Yeah.
I could see it being the Andromeda. I'll have one as a loaner for the Crucible, so I'll be able to play around with that. I don't think I want to go with the Aquila because I have my 𝗏𝘶𝑠 and jump gate stuff's not really anything I'm interested in, so that's more what the Aquila's detailed to. And then the Phoenix, I don't know if I really want to drop that much money in one go because you have to get it. There's no CCUing to it.
Do we think, do we know they will work on the Constellation series again to get it to a gold standard, or do you think they are finished?
Well, they have to work on it to get it to gold standard. It's just a question of how much they're going to change.
Okay.
They could just add the internals, do some sprucing up just to make it so that it actually works with the different gameplay. But it depends on... Theoretically, they wouldn't want to necessarily make too many changes because it's in Squadron. So it would be weird if it looked very, very different in Star Citizen. But I mean, I could potentially see them coming out with a Mark II because they've been doing that more lately. But I don't know if they'd want to do that either. We'll just have to see. But I know they mentioned something at one point with the Freelancer and the different MISC ships and said that there's going to be a break in design.
Okay.
Where you're going to have your older ships that aren't going to be brought up to the new standards. Design-wise, they're going to be brought up to the new standards for gameplay, but not for like the overall design language. So there's the ships that are just considered earlier in the company's history, and they're going to show their age.
Yeah, yeah. I love the Constellation series. I think they did a great job with that. I mean, it was one of the first ships, and it's a different feeling. If you walk into a Constellation ship or you open the cargo area, especially the Taurus. I had a Taurus for a long time, and you can load 2 ground vehicles in there. It is fantastic. I mean, it's a real nice feeling to fly this thing around, even though it's a little bit. I mean, it's not agile as many other ships, but if you like crew gameplay and you want to have a affordable ship to do that, the Constellation series is perfect, in my opinion. If you start out with crew gameplay, I think that's, when it comes to a price standpoint, is also very cheap in game, in my opinion.
Yeah, because it's around 3.5, I think, around the same place as the Corsair, at least right now. And yeah, I've got a buddy who is going to have the Andromeda is his favorite ship, and he's going to be getting that at IAE so that he can own it outright now. And that means that I don't have to necessarily have one myself, because I can just crew his and I'll be happy.
Yeah. Casper goes, guys, if you have questions for Kraken, drop them here in the chat. If you have questions about his fleet, or why he made certain decisions, and maybe I didn't ask about that, guys, you can drop those questions here in the chat. We have a lot of people here in the chat actually, or live on stream. In my perspective, it's a lot of people today. We have a couple here, and Nerion said, in regards to the freelancer 𝗘𝗏, what would be a comparable ship to switch up to that? Wouldn't be downgrade and not cost at a crazy amount more. Do you see the question? You can read it by yourself. It's a long question. What would be a comparable ship to switch up to that wouldn't be a downgrade and not cost a crazy amount more in regards to the freelancer 𝗘𝗏?
Well, the freelancer 𝗘𝗏 is an exploration ship. I think the closest thing is going to be the Zeus ES.
Okay.
It's going to be roughly around the same price, I believe. The problem is, you know what the freelancer 𝗘𝗏 is like now. You don't know what the ES is going to be like. So it depends on whether you want to wait for it to come out or get a concept ship. It's a 3-person crew, which technically I think all the freelancers are supposed to be 4-person, but they can really be operated with fewer.
Okay.
It's going to have a bottom turret, which is pretty similar to the freelancer's rear turret. It's going to have the scanning suite and stuff like the freelancer 𝗘𝗏 is supposed to.
Yeah.
So I think that's the closest right now. I mean, the 𝗘𝗏 is also going to be an exploration ship, but the 𝗘𝗏 is significantly more expensive than the 𝗘𝗏. So that's outside the price range.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of exploration ships in that area.
Good afternoon, Mark. Yeah, that's true. Well, good answer. I hope Nerion, Kraken could help you here. Guys, and we are on Discord as well. So if you have questions later, we can share, our opinions on Discord as well. And I would like you to stay here, Kraken. Valerie is not here. Valerie was supposed to talk about her fleet as well. But if you would be so nice and stay here and we just talk about my little fleet compared to yours.
Sure.
Yeah, and Nerion said, it makes sense. I chose the 𝗘𝗏 because I wanted something that could do a decent amount of cargo and exploration. I think the 𝗘𝗏 is in a really good price level to start out with cargo transportation. And so is now, I guess, the C1 as well, the Spirit. Don't you agree, Kraken?
Yeah.
All
yeah,
right.
that range is getting a lot more ships, and it's nice to have a lot more variety in that area.
Yeah. May said 600i. I'm not sure what is the comment about. He just said 600i.
Exploration ships.
Okay.
The 600i is in there. The problem with the 600i, actually, technically the 400i is closer, because the 400i is closer both in price and size. The 600i is a noticeable step up in both price and size from the freelancer 𝗘𝗏.
Yeah.
It's what, like 475 or something like that for the exploration variant. So
Yeah.
that's significantly more expensive.
Yep, that's true. Well, I like this this discussion, guys. I really like to look at fleets and discuss new ships and potential gameplays and all that. Maybe we can make this, like a fixed feature on my channel that we talk about these things and discuss it with the chat and with everybody else on Discord. That's awesome. So, okay, Kraken, I will load up my, and I already tried to prepare it here, but again, impressive fleet. I like it, what you did so far. And I especially like your thinking and your strategic planning on your fleet. I think everybody should actually do that. In that way, you know, you don't waste time in game or you don't waste money in real life, because look out for this game, what's coming in the future, plan your fleet accordingly, like Kraken is doing. And I think we can give advice over the next weeks, months, years, maybe, how to do that. And especially, I want to help new players also to understand what we are doing here and why we do this. It will be very complicated for new players, of course, with so many ships in game already and upcoming ships as well. I think it is good to have a nice community talking about those things and helping others to make good decisions. Yeah, empty 𝗙𝗃, beautiful, well-reasoned fleet. We can look at yours, 𝗙𝗃. Okay, let's look at my fleet. Sorry, go ahead, Kraken.
Real quick, I didn't actually touch on the Liberator at all.
Oh, that is true. Go ahead.
That's one of the ones that I'm actually looking forward to the most. So I only found out about the Liberator very recently. I saw it like months ago.
Yeah.
And thought, oh, that's a weird looking ship, and then just kind of walked on. But I was looking at things to step down to in the CCU chain from the 𝗘𝗏𝗏, since I decided not to go in that direction. And the Liberator's nicely priced in the chain. It's not nicely priced.
So you had the 𝗘𝗏𝗏?
No, I was chaining to the 𝗘𝗏𝗏.
Oh, you was chaining to the 𝗘𝗏𝗏.
Before I got up to it. Yeah, yeah.
How you do your chaining, Kraken? Are you doing it in an Excel sheet?
Yeah, I do it all in Excel.
Excel, okay. Very interesting. There's a lot of people out there who are doing this in Excel for many, many years, and they have everything laid out in an Excel sheet, even future CCUs. The CCU chaining process is a game. I mean, that's why it's called the CCU game, right?
Yeah, it's practically a job.
It is.
Try to rein in on your spending, but I mean, hey, you can save a lot of money with it. But the Liberator, when I first dismissed it, I thought I don't really care about a carrier. That's not my gameplay. But I was thinking of it purely from the standpoint of carrying ships, and mostly combat ships, because that's sort of how they portrayed it.
Yeah.
But there's a lot more that you can do with that ship. It's got 400 SCU of storage that's not shared with the pads.
Okay.
It's got the capability to be a mobile depot, essentially. So I'm going to use it for mining operations, small scale mining operations.
Okay.
You can have 2 prospectors on top, a scanning ship on the front, little medical 𝗙𝗍𝗍 inside for cuts and bruises and stuff to mend those.
Yeah.
And then the most recent thing I'm going to get, and I probably won't get it until Invictus, but the Storm AA.
Yes.
Because it would be amazing to be holding down the depot while my buddies are out mining. And then if someone comes and starts griefing them, just pull the Storm AA out and fill the air with so many missiles.
Yeah.
That they're better off taking off, and then we can get to
True. We saw that yesterday together on YouTube, and it's very impressive. There's a question for you in chat from Mark. Would you upgrade from the triage to the medevac? I'm quite a new player, love medical gameplay.
So I like the idea of the triage better than the medevac. They're essentially the same thing, but the medevac has more armor, which makes it slower, and it has some extra missiles.
Okay.
So there's not a massive difference in them. A lot of people will say, oh, but the medevac has those drones, and they don't take into account both of the ships have those drones. So people will usually assign roles to the ships, that the medevac's the one that brings people out of the fights, and the triage is set up at a remote area to just provide treatment. From what we've seen on their brochure, you could do either of those with either of the ships. There's no like limitations to the, well, we'll see what happens when they bring it out, but both of them are supposed to be able to have access to the same modules, so you can have the different bed sizes on each. So it's really up to you. I prefer the look of the triage better. I like that red paint over the white paint, and I'd rather have a speedier ship.
Yeah. Well, I guess, I mean, when we, when we look back to CitizenCon and the ship team presentation, it sounded like all those RSI ships are actually in the works very soon, and they try to release them over the next year. So we're going to see the Apollo maybe very, very soon. Don't you think, Kraken?
I'm sure hoping so. I know that it's on the roadmap. Well, not on the roadmap. It's in. It's not release view. It's the other one. I don't remember what it's called, but it's being worked on currently through the middle of December. That doesn't mean that it's going to release anytime soon.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that they're not going to extend that.
Yeah.
But someone is doing work actively on it right now.
Yeah.
And it's had work done in the past, so it has started and stopped and then kind of dropped off the radar. Hopefully, since this is happening again, this is the actual time that they're making it so that they can push it.
Yeah. I think,
especially since they're working on RSI ships right now, it would make sense.
yes, correct. And I have a lot of confidence right now into Star Citizen, the Star Citizen ship team. They added employees in Montreal. They have a solid team now in the UK, also in Texas. And they're making a lot of progress. They even kick out unannounced ships like the new Raylan ship. So I have a lot of confidence right now in CIG and the ship team. The ships are and vehicles are the most important assets to the game, not just for CIG, but also for players, because that's what it's all about. The immersion, the simulations, the space vibe. I mean, you only get that with the vehicles in the game, and what they are planning to do and how the new ships look like is just absolutely mind-blowing. The 3D work, the 3D artists, the work they put in those ships, guys, it's mental. It's crazy. It's unheard of how much work they put into those ships, the details, and you will find a lot of informations about it on YouTube as well, especially from people who are in the 3D design, Blender, whatever. All these people, they talk about Star Citizen, they talk about those spaceships. You would not believe how many people talk about how good CIG is doing that job, and we should appreciate that. And we know those ships are expensive, but we also know the concept sales, they need to be done to, support the project. We don't know how is it later down the road when the game is released. We don't want to talk about it. I don't want to, assume things. But yeah, the work going into the ships, the hours, it is real, and it is very, very important for the game. Okay. That was just my 2 cents about the ship team. Yeah. And again, guys, you can purchase every ship in game, not the concept ships. New ships released right now will be in game available down the road. I think the next patch will release those ships into the game as well, and you will be able to purchase them in game with Alpha UEC. So we should not forget about that. You do not have to buy ships with real money. You do not have to. If you look to those fleets like Kraken's fleet, and we can open mine as well, that's because we are supporting the game and we are supporting the project, and we like what they are doing and we want to support them. 𝗙𝗵𝗁𝗏, when the designers talked about shape language of the Cylon, I thought to myself that they have the best artists working on these ships, and they're getting better. Kraken, wouldn't you think they are getting better with every ship they release? I mean, it's just amazing.
Yeah, I mean the Montreal team came out of the gate swinging with the 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏.
Yeah.
I can only imagine what the Cutter third variant's going to be, and the Zeus's look absolutely stunning. I can't wait to see what they make after the Zeus.
And what I liked about the presentation when it came to the Zeus doing CitizenCon, they already showed that they are working on it. On those ships, they have already, I think it was white box, right? Or was it gray box? I think it was white box. The white box phase was already in the works. And they even showed the ship in one of those areas on Pyro. Very, very interesting. I like that they don't just show JPEGs and concept art, but they also showed already that they are working in 3D on those ships. Okay, Nerion Road. There's a lot of chat. Guys, I'm sorry if I cannot read everything today. For me, it's important that we talk to our community members. Kragan, this was amazing. I thank you so much for your input. If you don't mind, we might be able to do that again in the coming days, if you agree. We might see new ships. We might want to talk about it here on stream. Would you be able to join us again live so we can all discuss with the community new ships, news, new gameplay, maybe introduce with ships? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, not on the weekdays like this most of the time, but
yeah,
if it's into my schedule.
Well, we all have a real life and we all have real life jobs. We just do this here for fun, and we need to follow our schedules. Of course, that's that's of course important. We'll discuss it. We'll see. Anyway, so my fleet is a little bit smaller, and I'm actually more into the industrial side of things. Kind of like you, Kragan. I'm not really a alien guy, I have to say, but you guys all can see I actually pledged for the Banu Merchantman, not because it's an alien ship, because I like the whole concept behind the Banu Merchantman. Even the name of the ship kind of hints to what it is. It's a flying market ship, and I really like the trading side of things in Star Citizen, and I really hope that in the near future we see more about the trade gameplay in Star Citizen. Hopefully changes to the economy coming soon. I really, really hope they work on the economy and they make it, they make ships like the C2, which I do have the C2 because of the Banu Merchantman. So many ships you see me flying around in-game is because I purchased the Orion, I purchased the Banu Merchantman, I purchased also the Polaris. So the Orion, it's a huge mining ship. We all wait for that. I think, Kragan, you talked about this as well, that it will be one of the ships you want, correct?
No, I was going to get it, but the Arastra was announced, and
oh yeah,
it's gonna fit the size that my friend group is gonna be able to support more. But I am totally on board to help crew yours.
Yes, well, it's nice to have friends in Star Citizen who maybe own something you don't own, and you can plan on crew gameplay. So yeah, I'm very happy to let you use my ship together with me, and we'll go out and crack those big asteroids with the Orion. Why not? It sounds like a fun gameplay to me. So anyway, just recently I pledged for the Polaris, and I just like really the concept. I'm not really into the PvP kind of style, PvE. I like space combat, don't get me wrong. The Polaris is made for that. I just really like the concept. I like the on-top hangar. I also made a special video about the Polaris. You will find it about the history, how it was developed years ago. I mean, it's on a long list of concept ships to be released, But when I heard that they are working again on the Polaris, I looked into it, I investigated a little bit about the lore and so on. I'm like, yes, I really like it. I really love it. You will not be able to store a lot of ships in the hangar. I think one Scorpius will fit there, right, Kraken? Do you think so?
At least one, since we saw it coming out of it during the video. I could potentially see 2 side by side as long as they don't open their wings, but we'll have to see.
Yeah. And then I have to speed up a little bit because I think 10 o'clock we can switch to Twitch and see the official start of the Star Citizen live show in regards to the IAE. It should be in 10 minutes. So, but yeah, I have also the Galaxy. I bought all the modules with it. I assume there will be, in the near future or next year, there will be a Outpost module as well, because they said the Galaxy will actually support Outpost building. But Outpost gameplay, the development internal CIG is only starting January or February, something like that. I did purchase the C1 Spirit, as you can see on the top left. I like industrial gameplay. I like the cargo gameplay. I like the loot gameplay now. When it comes to salvage, it's a very helpful ship. The C1 Spirit flies very smooth. It is a little bit wide and a little bit long for certain gameplays. When you land in a hangar, it might be a little bit of a tight fit. That's when I recommend to use the N button on your keyboard to just land automatically, or you're going to hit the front or the back. I also purchased the 600i. I like exploration, but I also like the luxury side of things. It gives me a really nice vibe when I enter my 600i and I have a little ground vehicle in the back, for example, and I go exploring caves, for example. Very nice for that. Love it. Can't wait for the rework of that ship as well. And then something happened during the last sales show. Somehow CIG triggered in me to buy a Constellation Phoenix in the limited sale, and I don't know why. I just hit the button. I said, I like it. I want it. I lost my Taurus doing all kinds of processes when I upgraded and melded ships, and I got rid of the Taurus. And hey, 𝗙𝗶𝗏, and I wanted to have a Constellation ship back, and this was for sale. I'm like, you know what? Let's just scrap this one. It's a limited ship. Yeah, and then I got the F8C because I found a golden ticket. I don't want to talk more about that. That triggered in me also to make a purchase. I got the C1, which I did not know. The C1, the 𝗙𝐶, not the C1. The 𝗙𝐶 was actually provided to me as a loaner from the 𝗏𝗏, and I did not know that. And I made a long chain for 1 year, and we'll talk about CCU chains a lot in the next couple of days. But I built a CCU chain for, I think, 6 or 7 months, and to the 𝗙𝐶, and they increased the price, and I actually was able to get it for 325 or 350, something like that. But then I was surprised that I had 2 in my hangar because it was actually made as a loaner from the 𝗏𝗏. So I'm not sure if I keep the 𝗙𝐶. I'm not happy with the gameplay right now. There is gameplay, but yeah, it's a pain in the ass. And then you see my planned fleet. For now, it is only the Zeus package, like the 3 variants. I really like those. I mean, as Kraken said, they did a fantastic job when it comes to the concept. And also looking back to the original Zeus, I think they did a great job converting the original Zeus into the 3 concepts we have seen doing CitizenCon. Great. Not as a big fleet as you expect. The Orion is huge. It looks huge. I mean, it is, but we actually don't know when it's coming out. And that might be 2 years, maybe 3 years down the road. We don't know. And and 𝗙𝗏𝗏 is correct. I mean, it's not worth it really right now, the 𝗙𝐶, because the gameplay is a pain in the ass. They need to fix the gameplay, the cargo gameplay. when it comes to the 𝗙𝐶, and every other hull concept ship bigger than the 𝗙𝐶, like the D and E. I mean, they sell the E again as a limited sale, but the gameplay we saw so far, it's really just a pain in the butt. Sorry, I have to say that. There's one very important ship I have to mention, guys. It's the, and it's very small, of course, on the screen here. It's the 𝗙𝟑𝗫's rescue ship, right? I like the medical gameplay, and I have some CCUs to the Apollo and to other ships, but the C8R 𝗙𝟑𝗫 is actually and was a very, very good starter ship for me. I use this for certain activities, bunker missions, for example, missions where you can expect to be injured. This is the best ship you can have. It doesn't give you health for every injury. Certain heavy injuries or big injuries, you have to go back to a hospital in the game. But yeah, there's a video about Pyro when I tried to fight myself through a mission. It was crazy because I couldn't do it. But the 𝗙𝟑𝗫's actually helped me at least to stay alive for a little bit longer. So I highly recommend that. So if you have any questions in regards to my fleet, I do not have a strategic plan. I never had like Kraken, but I think it's time for me to do the same way. Yeah, we should slowly go and check out what they are saying on Twitch. I think it's time. No? Oh, it's still a couple minutes, but yeah. Mr. Captain Kraken, what do you recommend about my fleet? Would you make changes? Or is there something you don't understand? Why I bought it? I would like to know someone else's input as well. Kraken.
Well, what are the bottom three? The vehicles or small ships?
The bottom three, one is a, I would have to zoom in actually, how to do that.
Like a MPUV cargo and a PTV and something else?
Yeah, I mean, those were referral additions I received from 𝗙𝗫 for referring friends or other players. There is a 𝗘𝗶𝘁𝗿. There is, I think, a little, what is the golf cart version?
The PTV, yeah.
Yes. And yeah, man, I have to open it somewhere else. Let me check quick. Because that picture is a little bit too small here on screen. I actually forgot what it is. I don't want to lie about my fleet.
The hover quad.
Yeah. So the one is the MPUV cargo, which was a referral bonus when you referred someone, right? And the 𝗘𝗶𝘁𝗿 was recently, and the PDV as well. So those are just. Oh, thank you for the subscription, 𝗙𝗶𝘁𝗍. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Yeah, those were just referral bonuses. So yeah, guys, if you refer someone, especially in doing certain events, 𝗙𝗫 gives you actually sometimes free vehicles, and that's awesome. I really like what they are doing for their players, for their backers. Yeah, and as you can see, I think I have 3 of those already in my hangar. So yeah, and then I have the Cutter Scout. I purchased that because I really like the radar scanning. Hopefully that is in game soon. They talked about it. I do have the Scorpius as well. I like to play sometimes with my son. He really likes the gameplay with the Scorpius. He is sitting in the turret seat. I'm the pilot, and we just go out on missions. He loves that. I love that. It's fun. Yeah. And I like salvage. If you watch my streams, I do a lot of salvage. I do have the Vulture. I really like the gameplay with the Vulture. I just don't like getting out of my seat every other minute. Especially if you find those panels, they are really filling up your cargo area quickly. If you find those special salvage panels, I don't like that gameplay. I really want some tractor beam in the back or some crane or something where I can move those boxes into place.
Yeah, the Vulture is like a 1.5 person ship, sadly.
It is. Yeah, but it doesn't have the seat or co-pilot seat or a jump seat somewhere for a second person, unfortunately.
Yeah, they'd have to lay down on the bed in order to not be jostled around, and then they wouldn't be able to stay there. They'd have to have their own ship they brought to the scene. But I don't know. I don't think I have like advice that I'd say necessarily, because most of mine would just be like tiny little upgrades to vehicles that I like better. I personally turned the PTV into either an STV or a Ranger, the hover quad into like a Cyclone that I like, and the MPUV probably into a 315P, just because I like those and they're like not too much more than those things already are.
That's actually a good idea. That is actually a good idea. Yeah, I will think about it.
But I mean, those are also the ones you can't melt because they were things. So it's just, you have to make sure that the one you're going up to is something you really, really want, or that you don't mind putting a little bit more in. If it's not, just, you know, don't fall into the trap of a slippery slope and keep making it bigger and bigger and bigger and then regret it. So,
yep. Also, I have to thanks, Craig, and you're right. I think I will upgrade to some other ground vehicles. But the fleet I really have in game right now looks different, because most of my ships, from the bigger ships, are concept ships, and it gives me a lot of loaners. And it's kind of scary, because once they release those ships, I will lose actually a lot of other ships I use daily, especially doing live streams and crew gameplay. But there is time, I guess, to save in game and buy certain things in game later. We talked already about it. That I think makes a lot of sense. Thanks.
If you find that you're using it all the time because it's the loaner and you really, really like it and you miss it, then you know that it's
what even is this? Don't touch my things, gross.
All right, I'm now. Thanks, Craig, and again for your help. I mean, your input and your actually expertise about all these ships, and your fleet was impressive. Thank you again. It was awesome. I hope we can do this again. Also, we could answer some of the questions of the audience. That's great. I'm switching now. Why they say CitizenCon Part 2? Ask the devs. Oh, I thought they're going to start IAE officially. The title doesn't really say that. Did you see that already?
Someone said that that's what it's been saying for a while.
Oh, so they didn't change the title yet?
I guess so.
That is funny. Okay, let's turn this on. Thanks again, Gregan.
You're welcome.
It's a dream. I live in a corridor. No? Okay. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Star Citizen Live. I'm Jared, and this is the show they let me do for some reason. Joining us on the show this week, we have members from our esteemed, what are your teams called now? Because didn't we just do a big restructure? What do you have team names yet? Or are they still trying to work that down? Anyway, we got people from one of the kind of the FPS team, the shooty and the punchy and the player interaction-y team. So we don't know what their team name is yet. So we're just going to go straight to the people. We got Zach, Inez, and Jens. Zach, Inez, Jens. Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Hello. Welcome to the show. This is your first time in the spaceship, all of you, right?
Yeah, it looks
I've had a look around before, but this is the first time being filmed.
I can't believe you actually have it in space. That's the most impressive part.
Yeah.
Well, we're landed
unexpected.
We're landed on Pyro 3 right now.
It's crazy. It's really nice in here. It's cushy.
They're good. They're comfortable.
But with the gravity on, it's easier to sit down than it was earlier.
No Vandal have smashed into the spaceship yet, so I'm happy.
Effing nerds. All right, so
you got to compose yourself a lot for this.
So, guys, I'm a little bit confused because I thought we have a official start of the IAE, and they talk about IAE and the alien ships and the show.
Ines and Zach are here. They were 3 of the 4 people. Francesco Riccucci from our Frankfurt office is unavailable to join us today, who presented live from the first person at CitizenCon. And we thought we'd bring them on the show and have them answer some follow-up questions that came from you, the Star Citizen citizens, which we collected on Spectrum throughout the week and let you guys vote up the questions. We let them pick.
So the title is correct.
I have not seen the questions. It's part of my normal prep and whatnot, but we let them pick the questions and I didn't do my job. So we're just going to jump right into it because we got Yogi waiting to do the second half here.
Yeah, me too.
Jens.
When it is.
Really, this can be for anybody, but I'm just going to look at Jens.
So how was it last year? It was way different.
Are already calling the new radar and ping mechanics wall hacks. Can you tell, because you can tell all the, or can you tell us all of the upsides, the downsides, and the
So if I remember well, we had a nice video. The cutter was flying in. You know, they showed off the new ship on stage. It was a cutscene.
Definitely a concern internally.
But, and they talked about ships and everything, but this is interesting. I thought, yeah, 10 o'clock is official start. I guess it's only in-game then.
And almost nothing else. Because it's such a strong visual. So definitely
maybe they just want to kick it off with this and give you some information first, and then they'll go into the full swing of it.
Time it takes to charge up the ping.
Although someone did say it's not CIG without them being late.
You know, have thicker walls, stuff like that.
That might be correct.
We're giving tons of parameters for designers to tweak, like pierceability, range, signal noise ratio. You know, is my radar or my scanner better than your anti-scanner, whatever you want to call it? I think those are the kind of things we can do on the technical side, the engineering side to do it. But then at the end of the day, you know, it's probably more Zach's side to sort of say, like, how will design use those tools to...
Yeah, so obviously we don't want to make it busted. That was a very strong version that we showed off. We said gameplay balancing in progress, I believe. But it's the case of, like, you know, how emissions tie into this, right? So, for example, we have the idea of decoys and jammers potentially on a suit. Those could be, you know, components inside suits that would essentially make your emissions much lower, maybe practically invisible. That's obviously going to be down to gameplay balance. And if you're in, like, a heavy armor, maybe you have heavy emissions. But there's always, like, you know, there's a forward and backward with this, right? So if you're light and you're invisible and you scan, for example, a heavy, you should be able to see him in theory. But if there's a heavy, for example, and he scans you and you're in more of a suit with a much lower emission, or you're in a state with much lower emissions, you potentially might not come up. So there's so many things we can do to balance it, and we essentially showed it at its strongest, right? Yeah. Because when we communicate something out like that, we always want, you know, people to say, how is that in its, like, you know, almost maybe potentially your strongest state and things like that. So, I mean, gameplay balance, all of that is in flux, it's tweakable, it's changeable. So obviously, you know, we don't want an experience to be, you know, PvP to be trivialized by anything like, you know, radar becoming a crux essentially, right? We're completely aware of that, and obviously, you know, we're conscious of that. We play the game ourselves, and we wouldn't want that happening to players.
I think it's very. First of all, I think it should go without saying, but you know, we always get new people every week, every month, every year. So it bears repeating that nothing you've ever seen, ever, on any ISC, SCL, CitizenCon, Pillar Talk, gosh, we've done so many shows with these, is ever final. Like we've never ever showcased anything that's final. That's not what we do. We are always
big statements.
Our work in progress. We'll wait until it's presentable. We'll wait until it gives an almost complete picture of what we're trying to do. But we're not the people who wait until it's done to show it to you. We're not the people who wait until it's done to put it in the game for testing. Yeah. That's just not who we are at CIG. So it's always important to remember that whatever you're seeing, wherever you're seeing it, is always this work in progress. And for something like scanning and radar, it's much easier to take it all the way to the max and then prune it down like a tree. You know, it's harder to add you know, twigs and figs back to a tree after you've cut them down. So it's, you know, you start with as big a tree of features as possible, and then you start pruning it down through the anti-scanner, which we're going to call that now. Everybody just go through. It's not jammer anymore. It's anti-scanner.
I'm Swedish.
I
make words up. I love the English language because you make words up.
I'm not. I prefer it. Work. Yeah, no, I'm embracing it. I'm not making fun. So it's just much easier to bring it down and find all the ways to impact it and stuff.
I was going to mention one more thing. If you think of it from a PvP point of view, it's more like if you do a ping to find people, like Zach was saying, you might see people that have the right thing, but they will see you.
Hey, Casper goes.
So you're basically
going. Will we be able to detect when we get scanned?
Check if there's anyone
yes,
here,
nothing will change. I mean,
not going to know that I'm here.
We are already. Right now, we know when we get scanned, right?
A bit of a tricky beast for PvP that I feel definitely tuned more.
They will keep this that way.
Yeah, I think anybody that's ever worked for any MMO in the world is going to tell you that PvP tuning is never done. It's just this constant, ever-evolving, ever-changing beast.
That's a nice thing, right? Because if you really, really dislike such a, like radar scanning, it's like, okay, you can put the armor on, which is heavily resistant to that. So you will be able to have the player expression that you want to be able to get the gameplay that you want to facilitate.
Next question. Let's see. Really excited for the IK-powered interactions with buttons and control panels. Any thoughts at this point for interactions that are out of the player's reach?
Yeah, so we didn't show any, but yeah, we do have a version that we're calling for now Bluetooth. The naming is still
what was it called?
Bluetooth, but it's still naming is not like that. No, I don't think so as well. I mean, I wanted like Luffy, like Rubber Man, like you actually go and touch the buttons, but no. So the version we have is like the player will play an animation of interacting with his mobiGlas, and we have an animation on the screen as well, telling that he's interacting with the object, and then we trigger the interaction.
So someone in the chat said space 2 for the
Okay.
Well, I'm just going to go on record right now. If this thing ends up being called Startooth, I'm quitting.
Guys, if you want to know, the Warp-on CCU for today is actually the 𝗏𝗏.
Are there going to be ship interaction?
Ship value $220. And I have to see what the savings are. I have to check this later. I will put it here on screen as well. So today we have one CCU. It's the 𝗏𝗏.
We showed for like the elevator panels, but anything like any more screens are with more complex interactions, we are avoiding it. Like it's a bit hard to get the balance. Like we want to do some, search or like do certain operations in the screen. So having that doesn't really work very well. We talked about maybe having a pose on a player, having a bit with more connection, so maybe we actually see the player with the hands on the sides, not for sharing.
Hey Squirrel, how are you doing?
Kiosks around the game, but
we missed you all week.
We're still discussing options, but no, at the moment we're not thinking of adding.
I would just quickly say that one thing for me that was important is that if you start putting the hand onto the UI, and it's quite like a high fidelity UI, then you start obscuring the UI. Yeah. So that was quite, I always felt that would kind of lessen the sort of, you kind of want to bring the UI in focus, right? And you want to use your screen space and you want to see what's going on there. You want to see all the little interesting transitions and interactions. You don't want to see a big hand.
Lots of overtime. I hear you, man.
That's an interesting point that I hadn't actually considered.
Sorry, man.
Chris is always fond of saying you bring it to the point of realism, then you bring it back to the point of fun. It's like, yes, it might be realistic to reach out and obscure the full touchscreen every time you're trying to do it, but like I said, because we try to have as many diegetic, user interfaces as possible, that would make it fundamentally impossible to try to read half of it. So you do have to kind of, how do you balance that? Is that just a gut feeling? Is there a metric internally, or is it just on a case-by-case basis? That's too much, pull it back. That's not enough, do more.
Trial and error. I think, a lot of the time, I think the elevator ones we used in the video are a great example because they're like a list, very large, but large, friendly buttons, I would say. They are perfect to press, right? Because that's all there is. And you go to something like the shopping kiosk and it's a lot going on. Yeah.
Sadly, my request of making everything the fist slam got turned down.
This one is
Yeah,
Just everything.
yeah, it's like it's a true visceral experience, right?
It was really satisfying the first time I saw it. Just
Oh, it's really nice. I love it. They wouldn't let us do it on the toilets because apparently it's too destructive and not delicate enough.
The toilets.
You whack.
Now we
that
talked
handle, you
about
know,
toilets
you get a
again.
proper flush.
Toilet gameplay is coming, guys.
says a lot, doesn't
They
it?
don't let me on here very often.
Oh
I
my god, I'm
apologise.
sitting on my
Zach,
headphones.
do you know what the 3 seashells are?
3 seashells.
Yeah.
Free seashells.
The youngsters.
Pete's shaking his head over there.
They had this conversation at CIG so much. They're like, "Do you remember this movie from the '80s?" And I was like, "No, I wasn't alive."
I wasn't
Wanted
alive.
to make all the directors feel old, I think.
Well, good job. All right, Jens, maybe this one's for you. I don't know. Is part of the FPS weapon rework also removing the automatic reload of the weapon? Okay, geez. Is part of the FPS weapon rework also removing the automatic reload of the weapon and rather allowing the player the choice to reload the magazine, swap the weapon, or do neither and run away instead? So I think they're talking about that every time you try to reload, it's pulled out, but then it's automatically once. Like they want to interrupt it like halfway.
I mean, it should be possible to interrupt it already, but it's definitely, like I said, like going through now we got a lot more features, going through them and increasing the interactivity is like really high on our list or our wish list, just to make everything feel smooth, and what you want to do is what you can do and you're in control of what's happening. Obviously, again, from the engineering side, there's challenging with like, it's not always a very easy thing to implement systemically. A lot of the times you have to go into each type of feature and put in like, where do you interrupt it? How do you queue it? How do you sort of not, if you've queued it and then you decided to do something else while it was queued, do you then unqueue it?
𝗙𝗵𝗃𝗄 said he would like to manually load his weapons.
Should I reload because I pressed reload while I was jumping?
That would be great for immersion.
Of the sort of heavy land. And
Oh, Valerie, we stopped 50 minutes
it's not
ago looking
as
at the
easy
fleets.
as perhaps
Sorry.
design would like it to be, because
Yeah.
they like
Well,
to give us a big spreadsheet and like make this.
That's the whole thing we're working on at the moment.
We might find a
Action
spot
matrix.
in a
So
couple
essentially,
days or
this
tonight.
thing
I don't
is
know. I'm not sure when.
basically supposed to make starters an extremely
We'll look again at
fluid,
certain
like you'd
things.
expect. Like if you're doing actions, they have the intended result of what you think. So when you're playing a game, if you have to think about something, that usually means there's not the level of fluidity you'd expect, right? So for example, with our slide, if you switch weapon during the slide, like if you press 1, as soon as you go into the slide, the expectation of you would be, as soon as I regain control of my character, I switch weapon. And that's something that we have to manually put in, because we have to basically author and dictate which actions can go into which other actions. So the whole idea of the action matrix work is essentially it's like a designer can go in and say, well, if I'm reloading and I want to be able to cancel out of it, I should be able to. And obviously that's something that we've specifically talked about a lot. We've heard it requested a lot as well. And it is something that we are planning on doing. Obviously that being the biggest example of how the action matrix will come in handy. So hopefully once the action matrix work is done, you'll have this very fluid experience that you expect in most contemporary FPSs.
And it'll never be done.
Yeah.
They'll be like, they'll get the matrix, we'll implement it the way it is, and then someone tweaks it, we'll reiterate on it, and they go, and it's back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, sit and play it.
Yeah, because it's also the case of like,
more.
When can you exit out of stuff, right, as well? It's like, for example, if you med pen, right, when you go douche like that, as soon as you pull out, is that when we give control? And obviously there's a lot more like layers and depth that we can go into it, how much expression do we allow of fluidity versus how much do we control and punish an action. So if you med pen, that's obviously quite...
I think some actions in game take a little bit too long,
should we allow you to
especially if you are in action.
Allow skill expression by breaking out
And
earlier. There's all these fun
you would
design
like to
questions
change
you
it
can
sometimes.
pose and easily put in now. Well, we say to you, can you please allow us to...
Bad time to be drunk. Definitely buying a lot of alien ships.
The nickel version of that answer is...
Don't drink and go on the RSI
Is
website
the action matrix.
Yes.
It'll probably be called the Star Action Matrix.
when you're drunk.
It's
Don't go
released.
drunk to the RSI website. You're going to buy a lot of expensive ships now.
I just realized what I should call the teams.
What?
Star teams. It's done.
And obviously, when it comes closer to fruition and being implemented in the PU, we'll almost certainly do a segment on it in ISC and whatnot.
Yes.
I want to address a question in chat. 𝗘𝗶𝗁𝗃 says, "Will we have 𝗙𝗹𝗶𝘀𝗃 soon? Please say yes." No. I see this pop up every once in a while. I'm always very confused about it because 𝗙𝗹𝗶𝘀 was a thing that allowed us to test 0G.
How much is the alien ship?
The PU.
𝗙𝗶𝗁𝗃.
It was a 2015
I didn't
thing
see it
that was
yet.
being developed back with our partners at 𝗙𝗏onic at the time because we didn't know when the PU was going to come online and we wanted to get some 0G testing. Once the PU came online, there was no real reason for 𝗙𝗹𝗶𝘀 anymore because we could just do all our 0G testing there in the PU. So I'm surprised in the year 2023 this question still comes up, but it comes up enough times that every time I see it, I'm like, oh, I should really address that and whatever. And so Rico, Pico, or whatever the heck your name was, you're the one who got drawn right there. Let's see, what else do we got? Can we expect, another IK button. Can we expect to see IK button interactions on things like shop kiosks? I think it'd be really neat to see others do it, but might be obstructive to your own view possibly. Well, this person was pressing it. So
That is actually cheap.
Yeah, we kind of already touched that.
Yeah,
so yeah, no.
Good job, whoever sent that question. I didn't get the name on that one. You were right. It would be
70 Warbond 65
looting
LTI game pack. What is the LTI game pack?
It's the end of the week. Will the looting screen be extended to armor and undersuits at some point?
Yes, it will. We're working on it. So yeah, PU version will have armor and clothing. Basically, we'll have two views. So we have the main view, which will be very similar to what we show at CitizenCon. And then the secondary view that the player can go to by using a keybind, a shortcut, then we'll bring
it's a starter. Okay.
Either clothing or armor, depending on the context, and all the similar operations we currently have for the others. Yep.
I remember that the looting screen was on screen for all of about 3 seconds at CitizenCon, and the chat was like, "Where's armor? Where's clothes? Where's armor?" It's like that. So I was like,
yeah, I think like our main concern now at the moment, like, it's very clean because for Squadron we have a very controlled limit of items that the player can carry. PU can go wild with heavy armor, so I think we are in talks with the UI and user experience teams to try to balance it out, get the best experience, but try not to clutter as much. So.
We touched on it with the UI team. We had the UI team on last week, but it bears repeating here because not everybody can watch everything that we do. These Squadron 42 technologies, these UIs, these features and whatever, they're not just brought over to Star Citizen by checking the multiplayer box and it going. A lot of these things have to be reshaped and reformed to work with the persistent universe. With a persistent universe that's continuously evolving, like when they were first developed for Squadron, they might have included.
Yeah, I think the website is already overloaded. People just checking out all the prices.
It's always this thing of them diverging.
We'll look at this together in a minute.
And then diverging, then bringing them back. We're in the process of bringing them back right now. So
I think they're going to have a break
sometime and why we can't
soon, and then we're going to look at some things.
What's the February?
February?
It's also the one thing I think of when I see that question is always like, so for me, you have the two screens, right? So you have the first-person screen, the loot screen. That's all about like I'm in the middle of combat. I need some ammo. I need some grenades. And I got the big screen where I'm a paper doll. I'm in the middle. I can dress myself. I can move things between bags. I can have my here's a bag with all the helmets I've collected. Here's one with my favorite knickknacks and whatever. And it's funny when you say that the first people ask is where's armor. It's like they're in the middle of combat. Like I need a quick way to completely change my outfit because this encounter will not go well unless I'm wearing that pink helmet.
It is the screen as well. It is game changer. It is so nice. It works as you'd expect, and it's.
Did we see that screen?
Fantastic to use.
Yeah, I think if you get it for the weapons, even if you don't get armors, it's such a win.
When you're panicking.
Oh yeah, they show that screen when you switch out your helmet, your armor.
That fluidity, right? It's like you've gone in, you grab the thing, it's done what you'd expected, and it's like, yes, I'm in the zone.
Bacon of War following along with 𝗙𝗹𝗶𝘀𝗃. You're going to show this to all the Necrode features. How is Grabby Hands doing? Grabby Hands isn't in development anymore either. We surpassed that with our interaction system years ago. So that's one of those things. when we do weekly recurring a docu-series behind the scenes every single week of a game that's in development, you're going to see things that we try, and some things that we try work, and some things that we try don't. Grabby hands didn't work. We've since we got the whole player interaction system since then. So, I'm assuming that was a genuine question and not somebody trolling me, so I answered it. Oh, here's one. All right. So the second they saw the inventory, they were talking about, they were asking for armor. FPS compass? Ships have one.
Just kidding, guys.
Why can't that be something in the FPS HUD?
Well, I have something very. I printed this especially. I don't know if we get so I might have to go to the camera.
We don't have a zoom yet.
Yeah. Well, if you look at the UI talk or the life in first person talk, you will see that there is an FPS compass. So you can go watch our panel or the UI panel, and it's here. So I've for the people who missed it, I've drawn a big red box and an arrow for you as well. So yes, we do have an FPS compass.
And we showed it at CitizenCon.
And we might need
So there is a special skin for Chairman's Club members. Wow. Okay.
I mean,
This is when they get me. This is when they get
we're
me.
having a laugh.
They
but
bring a
we
special.
showed
I'm a
lot
sucker for pains,
at
guys.
CitizenCon.
If they
Yeah,
bring a special
it's
pain,
not-
I'm in.
It's
I hate that. 𝗙𝗶𝗃𝗄𝗏, I hate that about you.
Of
You know,
course.
across 8 hours. 2
Thanks, 𝗙𝗶𝗏𝘀𝗏, for the info.
There's a lot of cool stuff. on
The only
UI.
reason why I did that was because that was the second most voted post on there, and I was like, "Come on,
Wow.
guys. Like if you're on the thread." for
$68 for
the
LTI
panel,
and
well,
a
we showed
copy
all
of
this stuff, and I
the
was like, "Did you watch
game.
the talk?" But of course, people missed
Okay.
it.
So it's a starter
long day with
package,
a lot
yeah.
of stuff, and not everybody has time to sit there and watch. And a lot of people, they instead choose to watch a little summary thing. That,
So a funny
they
fact,
watch
if you
a
are
YouTuber
a
summary,
chairman's
YouTuber
member
summary,
and you spend more than $1,000
it's just physics.
over your lifetime
Obviously,
in
when
your
you're a
account,
developer,
you
have
don't have to have a
boxes
starter
and
pack.
stuff as well.
You can play the
You're
game
so invested about it
without
when
a
you
starter
find it out, you're
pack.
like, yes, and someone's like, "Where's that thing?" It's like, "Oh, we had like a 2-hour meeting about this."
Yeah, but I mean, I'm not complaining about anything. Not everybody has all the time to do these things. It's the content creators that make the shortened version stuff are invaluable to getting the message out. But physics is simply if you take an hour-long thing and cut it down to 8 minutes, something gets missed.
Yeah.
The only thing, 𝗙𝗶𝗏, what we should not forget is it doesn't fly like all the other ships.
We're
It's a
just in the big
special
one.
ship.
Okay, we went
I don't
from
know if this
armor
is good
to
for a
FPS
beginner.
to night vision.
Because to learn flying with this alien ship,
Different types of vision, something you are
gonna be
working on
difficult,
now. They
right?
will ask this question of every team. They'll ask it of the UI team. They'll ask it of the graphics team. They'll ask it of the FPS team. They're just hoping
Sivian,
anybody
yeah,
has
that's-
anything to say ever. Give us something, Zach.
that's how it is. It's Star Citizen.
And
Just say yes.
obviously, when we've got
You get the game for free if you spend 1,000.
Step in that direction. We've been talking to graphics about it.
I don't know if it's slow, but the way you land and the way you take off,
It is possible.
it's way different than all the other ships in game.
And potentially. So no confirmations from us yet, but we've had those conversations.
Oh, what?
Talking about it, and we need to figure out how we can do it, and where we do it and where we put on, and how it looks, and so on and so forth. But
What?
Uh,
we've seen in the 𝗙𝗃𝗃 sniper rifle during the talk how there is like a tin, for example, on the sniper scope, and things like that are the sort of things that we're looking into, and having scopes with potentially like different shadings depending on manufacturers and things like that. So to slightly dance around the question, yes,
Just do it. Just make the night vision.
it's up to graphics, not me.
No, don't. Stop.
When
Oh my god, night vision.
he was scared.
We're tired.
Soon, yeah.
This is not okay. Jared should not do that. He's forcing people to work on things.
You get nothing out of me.
Do you guys know if I take away my camera,
Speaking of things that
he has the
we're gonna
𝗏𝗏𝗏
get all kinds of
from
topics here.
the Expanse
Are the
on his
wide
desk.
variety of FPS
That's awesome.
gadgets still in the works. Things like breaching charges, EMP, gravity, radar scatter, decoy grenades, placeable shields, repelling wire, jump packs, gliding packs. I don't know what gliding packs. Okay, like wingsuits, I guess. Maybe. What can you tell us? Anything about personal gadgetry
Yes.
to mess shit up?
We're still working on those. Stuff like deployable shields. You've seen some laser strip
Deployable
models,
shields.
I believe around the PU now.
Interesting.
That's an example of a gadget that should hopefully be coming to the player. Some also more contemporary FPS things like flashbangs, smoke grenades, things you'd expect. The idea is we want to nail
Wingsuits in Battlefield. Oh yeah.
To crazy sci-fi gadgets. So once we've got that stuff, it's nailed in, it's looking great. Then we can move on to more crazy.
Cephian, many ships are actually.
So
you can
black grenades
find many
or,
ships actually in games, like the Scorpius, the X-wing fighter in
Why are you so obsessed with night vision? Like specifically night vision?
I'm tired of getting
Star Wars. Sorry.
Ah, okay.
The Vulture, for example, exists in EVE Online. The Vulture you can find in EVE Online.
It's good to know.
The 𝗏𝗏𝗏, I've never seen it in any game yet. A similar ship.
I'll see what I can do.
Ask questions from the backers, man.
There's a segue. I'm a child of the 90s comics era. I love pouches. One presentation showed off pouches we can attach to our gear to add additional storage space.
Pouches.
Another presentation showed a more limited inventory window made for easy looting. Will the two systems work together, or are pouches already being phased out in favor of a streamlined Squadron 42 inventory system?
There will be pouches.
There will be pouches.
They are in concept. They will work with the inventory we're showing. There's some concepts to be on the looting as well, and that's all I know. Yeah.
I like her.
I'm not full on like every time I play a video game that has comic characters, I always gotta use those 90s versions of the characters that have all the pouches, like the Scarlet Spider that's got the pouches on his ankles. He had little pouches on his ankles. I'm like, bring that stuff back. I love that stuff.
Kragan is right. Yeah, she was really good in doing Citizen Con.
Together at the minute.
I didn't get any time to prep. This is what happens. We talked about ammunition. We talked about the reloading, the ability to interrupt, the ability to stuff like that. What about magazine repacking? Having multiple magazines with only a few rounds is quite annoying.
Ooh. Do you want to talk about this?
I mean, I think in Ash on the looting screen, we actually showed a little bit of this.
We did, yeah. So it's probably a bit quick. It hasn't been balanced at the moment. So we call it the ammo repooling. But yeah, so the player can trigger for the different magazines using the looting screen, but the player can also trigger it outside of the looting screen. So if he's holding a weapon, and you can trigger the ammo repooling using the same key binding for the looting. And that will trigger the repacking for the magazine that we're currently holding. But yeah, we're still balancing it at the moment. It's really quick, so there's really no consequence of using it. But yeah.
Let's see, we've almost had time. I think we'll squeeze in one or two more though. I want to talk about the slide mechanic. That was another one that set Twitch chat on fire during that stream. With the slide mechanic, how do you intend to mitigate hitbox abuse by rapidly crouching or uncrouching? Will this be done with inverse kinematics and inertia, making the player take some time to stand back up?
I mean, I can only talk about like if I flip the question and talk about the second half, I would say like I love procedural animations. It's one of the things I really enjoy about gameplay. Yeah, exactly. Who doesn't? I definitely like it more than night vision. For sure. Inverse kinematics like we're using for the buttons, like anything that makes you feel like, your character is actually touching the world. It sort of grounds them into the world so much more than, an animation that sort of ends up like halfway between the intended target and where it should be. Or having to offer a unique animation for every situation or every metric you might have. And in general, trying not to sort of force people into very specific metrics. These are all super important to me, so I can go on a long time. And then the other part of that was the inertialization. So that inertialized blending is something that I'm also really, really keen on. And we're definitely going to be exploring, because I think it will allow us to blend between a situation without traditional transition animations. And we can use the inertialization as ways to tweak the timings, like Zach was talking about, like, do we punish you because you just did like 3 slides?
Hey Maze, you have a good day too, man.
your heart is like mega pounding. It's going to take it'll be like.
Thanks for hanging out with us.
Me standing
Appreciate
up,
it,
old
man.
man standing up instead of Zach, young man, like he'll be up jumping on your desk before I even got out of the seat, right? So
the writers of The Expanse, I guess, because the writers of The Expanse or producers, they gave this model to Jared or to CIG. That was a gift from The
While
Expanse
we're on the top of sliding,
producers.
Yeah, you go.
while we're on the top of
Go over
sliding,
me.
obviously the sliding has a high stamina cost. The more you slide, the stamina cost is tied to the aiming idle sway as well. So while you're aiming, if you're exhausted, it's worse as well. And you can't fire immediately as you get into a slide. So
It wasn't true.
more of
Wow.
a get into cover tactic than it is an aggressive tactic. So we're wary of how arcadey sliding is, but we're also conscious of
Valerie, use the
we want
use the
to
command
be a function,
exclamation point ship and tell us
just
what you
more
bought.
getting into cover
on stream.
That's the intention of sliding.
I mean, it's a slippery slope from sliding. Then you end up skiing.
There you go.
Users, and then everybody's shouting 𝗙𝗶𝘁𝗏.
If you want to set them off, you say dolphin diving.
Nice.
No, I don't know what that means, so I'm not going to do it.
Awesome.
All right, last question. Do you have any more information to share regarding time to kill?
Yes. So you'll have noticed how it's now in the PU, I believe. We've done some balancing, and the health has. There's been tweaking of the overall combat experience at the minute. That is essentially step one of the further work we're doing.
Oh, that's a good one, Kraken.
The new AI has gone in, and you take more shots than you did previously. And if you're in PvP, you currently take more shots than you did previously. And this is an overall.
You did
step
not
forward
purchase the
to
Pioneer.
balance that we talked about in the Life in First Person talk, where we want to increase the PK and make an experience.
It's not for sale.
Fair
The Pioneer.
and engaging in both PvP
Today?
and PvP environments.
Did you purchase it today?
There's been a lot of talk of frustration.
Oh, the grey market.
It's like it's a lot of prep work, right? It's before you fly down to a planet, before you fly down to a bunker. Then if you just walk out your ship and there's a guy hiding in a corner with an assault rifle and he beams you down,
Kraken, that's why you ccugame.app, the website.
Isn't feel overall fair. So we've done some changes and we're going to continue.
Yep, the
working
grey
on this.
market.
It's the literal first.
I bought a lot of
iteration
CCU upgrades on the grey market
We'll
recently.
be iterating patch to patch.
Especially 𝗙𝗶𝘁𝗄.
This feels too long.
Very
this feels
cheap.
too short. This is unfair.
Before the price
Different types of
increased.
injuries as well, right? Anyone
Saves me
who's got
$100 at
there's
least
a lot of
on the
they're getting a lot
𝗙𝗶𝘁𝗄.
more injuries now, for example. So obviously, we take the point of realism, bring it back to fun, right? So the cost offset of increased health is that you get more injuries. So you are, you not punished, but for engaging there is a consequence, and it's not the consequence isn't death. Now here is basically a injuries medical system.
Yeah, several websites for the grey market. Yeah,
Death.
Now, as I
and
said,
one
does any work on time
good
to kill
Reddit
has to naturally
subreddit.
include work on
Star
medical
Citizen
gameplay.
Trades,
Yeah,
very good
medical
one.
Can't do
gameplay.
those.
Highly recommended.
It's
The silo.
Yeah, it's the sparrowfish, right? It's one of those things where it's like we don't just go in and tweak a number. We have to think of all the other cascading consequences and effects of all those things. But overall, the feedback has been quite positive. I've been annoying some Twitch streamers. I've been, annoying people on Reddit. Say, how do you feel about that? How's that going? Reading Spectrum and just getting an overall idea of what people think about it, how they feel about the current direction, because it's a very contentious issue when people talk about health, because it's always one of those things where, in gameplay, it's such a big thing that everyone has preferences as well, which obviously plays into it.
I'll let this run in the
It's one of those things where
background.
we take a wide variety of feedback, and we
I wanna show you guys something.
The community's happy, everyone's happy, and it plays really good.
And this is so much more than just health. Health is just one aspect.
Yeah.
Of
And we have to change
overall
my
time to kill.
my banner on top as well.
Armor,
Health,
injury,
armor,
medical
yeah.
gameplay, all these
CCUs.
things.
And yeah, we're obviously all very conscious
Let
of
me
that.
turn down a little bit of volume here.
We're giving it to you now, and then you can give us feedback.
So
And I
those
think
are the CCUs you can buy right now on the Star Citizen website. The website here works fine. If you got an error,
Thank you for hanging out with us at the end of the week. Joining us here on the Spaceship.
Oh, wait a
Thank you
second.
for taking the time to pull the questions from the community. I want to stress again, these were all questions picked by the developers. So these are the ones that they wanted to address and jump in and had the best info for. So thank you so much for doing that.
So what they're going to do now?
You can go back to your desks and start working on night vision. And
He is crazy.
Any update you can give.
You have to start now working on night vision. Come on.
To mention one thing.
What about night vision?
No, not why, even better. We're currently in the process of trying out if equipment obfuscates shots. Because currently, if someone hits like a magazine on your chest, you don't take any damage, and that's been a big community sticking point. And we're going to be trialing that and seeing how that goes and how that plays.
Oh,
Like
cool.
The magazine explodes.
The magazine will get wear, and you will take damage as if you got hit.
Oh.
I don't know if that's better, but I mean, if you want to call it Star Vision, I'll allow it.
There was a conversation about, well, if you shoot a grenade,
Vision.
if you shoot a grenade, it should explode on someone's body, and it was like, ooh.
Right. Jens and Ez, Zach, thank you so much. Who are you? Yogi, are you there?
I'm here. Hey.
Okay, we're going to take a break because Yogi's still here. And when we come back, we'll do part 2 where we follow up on the Taking Flight presentation. Stay tuned, everybody.
What?
Bye.
Okay, so now. We'll turn this off for now. And I want to show you this website here, which I always use for all the offers on the Star Citizen website. This is the ccugame.app. You can connect it to your account. You can load everything from your hangar in here, including paints, including armor, everything. Not what you purchased in-game. Everything you purchased or pledged for on the RSI website. And I can actually select here time limited and war bond. And as you can see right now, I hope that is correct. Oh, wow. Valerie just purchased the Endeavor. What's going on? Why you buy everything in the gray market when you can buy those ships cheaper in doing IAE? I don't know. Anyway, so according to this website, we have only the 𝗏𝗏 as a Warbond edition. You save actually, $15. And you can see also the price history. I hope you guys see that. Let me turn off my camera here. It might be actually better. So you can see the price history and just you wait. Oh, Valerie. And so what I will do now, I will add this to my document here. Desktop. CCU offers. I will add the 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏. Yep. And it's actually how many $? It's 205, which means you save 15. And the way how it works, save. It should come up now as well. Yep, it's coming up as well now on the screen. So the way it works is basically, I can show you here. They have the impound store here as well, which is gray market. I'm not interested in that. Creating a chain. So if you want to, I select automatically a ship, prefer LTI, and I want to go to the 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏. And I can say create chain. This website will actually create automatically CCU chains from a starter ship to your actually ship you want, right? It will also show you what's in your hangar. I have, for example, the Freelancer to the Gladiator in my hangar. And you can see my savings. I also have the 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 to the A1 Spirit in my hangar, which is a $25 saving. So I could actually purchase me with my hangar and with my selection, I could actually purchase now the 𝗙𝗏𝗏 for 25% less for $165. So, and the 𝗙𝗏𝗏 is today the special war bond offer on the RSI website, as you can see. And there's different ways to create these chains, and you can save it. It's very nice, right? Hey, Mr. Silver, how you doing? That is the ccugame.app website. I can put that in chat. Just give me a second. That's what I use to create my chains and to control my hanger, to control savings, everything. It's very amazing. Yeah. I know Kraken, for example, he's using only Excel sheets and stuff. But I found this, and I spend a lot of time with this website, and it's amazing, right? You even have the funding dashboard here and some other statistics, but we're not going into that. I could save now this chain and keep it safe for tonight, tomorrow. And actually, if I create another chain, I could say, everything I have on here, especially things for my hanger, don't put in my new chain, create me a new chain for the next ship. But let's just stick to one ship. So today you could buy the 𝗙𝗏𝗏 for, you know, a lot less because it's the special war bond edition today with $15 saving. And I have this also here on screen running through every day. So awesome. Anyway, what else we have here? We should actually see the new ship, right? What is the new ship? Galak. It's not here. Maybe I should actually update the website because the new ship is still not here. Also refresh my hanger. Could not refresh hanger. Upgrades failed. It looks like the RSI website is really under attack.
Hey, are you lurking?
Valerie. I think the RSI website is under attack. We can try to get there. What is going on here?
The current backlog of ships needing to be converted to master modes. A couple, 30, all. I think it's like all of them.
Oh, we talk about ships, guys.
Well,
Talk to me.
the proper answer is all of them. I mean, I can't check how many flight controls we have, but we have like.
Oh no, this is about
in the triple digits. When we're gonna move this stuff over to the PU, we will not do it all in perfection at once. So we're probably gonna have like the speed tuning first. So basically limiting how fast the ships can go. And then we're gonna implement the actual handling changes of the ship archetypes, meaning like streamlining all the ships so that they feel similar, bespoke to the archetype that they're supposed to be in. And then we're going to go to the individual differences. So this will be like a multiple tier thing, which basically will take some time. I don't know how long that will take. I mean, this will be on Rich Towler's team. So he can probably give you a better when answer, but it will be like it will.
You can not buy ships on their website, but it will automatically.
A look at the public.
It will automatically put the things you want to add to your
a particular patch.
Congrats.
How much testing?
You can put this on your RSI website account in your cart from that website. CCUs, armor, ships,
I
everything.
don't think there's a lot. Okay, so don't misquote me here, but I don't think there's a lot of difference between combat ships and non-combat ships in Star Citizen. All ships are, first of all, they're ships. They have thrusters, they have shields, they have weapons. The civilian ships, they might have a little bit more protection than others, but they will all play by the same rule set. We did a little bit of testing with like constellation-sized ships, but the thing is, like, the bigger the ships are, the more unique they are, and the harder they are actually to, put them into a pattern. We actually did not test too much on the really large ones. But long-term, in terms of the combat gameplay, you can expect that fighters will not have an easy time around larger ships. So that's all I can say about this at the moment.
Gotcha. So I don't know. So the next question here says, how will master modes affect ships that don't use main thrusters, like the 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, the 𝗙𝗏𝗏𝗏, or the Miss Fury?
Yeah, that's still the same tech below it.
Well, the website
We're
ccugame.app
still
is
gonna-
especially
like, certain alien
made
ships will make them
to create
unique, but when
CCU
it comes to,
chains
like,
from
combat,
one
balance, and
starter ship
gameplay,
to
it's
another
not just about the maneuverability, it's
ship
also about the
to a more
the
expensive
shape of the
ship,
ship
and to
most
help
of
you
the
to
alien
find out
ships,
what
they
is the
have, like,
highest
a really
savings.
large profile, so they're very, very easy to hit versus like an arrow that looks at you and basically disappears. So, but also here, like the same rules will apply there. So in navigation mode, they will be faster than they are in SEM mode, and they will have maybe slightly different SEM speeds. But how exactly these numbers are going to be, this is up to first of all to the tuning process, and also then up to player feedback. So just to manage expectations, we'll not get this right in the first on the first try, right?
Guys, I will be right back.
This will take some
I need a
iterations
little
to get right.
bio break.
So it sounds like a lot of the master mode's work thus far is to single seat ships or individual craft. You said we've tried as big as a constellation. Have you thought about how master modes are going to affect ships even larger than that? Hammerheads up to like Polarises. Are master modes? Yeah. What do you got for us? Is this?
They will also still have the same. They will have the same rule set still, right? Like when they're in navigation mode, their shields will collapse, their weapons will be off. It's for them, it's more like if they want to escape from a fight, it's more about like how long they take up to spool up the drive and to align themselves and to get out of there, right? And how long they're gonna be vulnerable. But at the moment in the PU, the larger ships, they're very, very vulnerable. That's not the intention in the long term. So like as an example, if you fly a Hammerhead and you're getting attacked by 6 fighters or something like that, in a Hammerhead you shouldn't worry about too much unless that group of players or attackers is coming at you with very specialized equipment to take down large ships. That's the moment when you need to worry. So, I mean, the rule set in general about how larger ships benefit or not benefit from master mode, there's not that much depth in there. It's mostly to make sure that combat stays close to each other, and that we're getting exciting combat environments.
I want to follow up on that Hammerhead thing. You're not talking about the game as it is today. You're talking about where you want it to go.
Yes.
It's obviously we have a huge international community and stuff. English is not always the first language. Some people could only just be half listening. I want to make sure we clear out. We're not talking about how it is now. We know how it is now. Everybody knows how it is now.
Yeah.
We're
work, very aware of the issues.
The work of the Taking Flight presentation, the work of Yogi's team, the work of Master Modes and stuff is about where we're going.
Did I miss something?
Stuff. And obviously, like I said, and it's not just your team's work. It's Torsten's resource management system. It's the Maelstrom with the physicalized damage system. It's all these things come into play with increasing the time to kill and and changing the ultimate experience of flying a Hammerhead from what it is today to what we want it to be tomorrow. So, speaking of things that aren't implemented yet, will change things. Let's talk about armor. When armor is implemented, is there an intent for armor to prevent all damage below a certain threshold, alpha damage reduction, or will it serve more like a % reduction or even something else?
So we don't have the armor system yet, but the long-term design or direction that we got is that if you basically come with a ship with anti-fighter weapons against a large ship and you shoot at it with like anti-fighter weapons, the big ships won't care. It's similar like when you take a pistol and tank and shoot against a tank or something like that. The tank doesn't care, right? So we'll have similar situations there. So what exactly these numbers are, whether they're going to be, if there's going to be a threshold or if it's just calculated based on the physical properties, I can't answer at the moment because we're still waiting for the system. We don't even have any idea yet how exactly to tune it. This will come up all when we have the first implementation from the physics guys, and then we can look into that.
Let's change gears here and go to an old chestnut, the turret gunner's experience. Any plan to make turret gunner's experience more desirable? For example, people love
the upgrade page is not working.
A Hurricane, but not so much in a Vanguard, Cutlass, Super Hornet, etc. What you got? Anything?
So
it's gonna be fine.
Right now, I'm actually working on
Patience.
the gunnery experience for the turrets. You've seen the
Everybody's on our website now.
precision targeting. Sorry, I need to think about names here because we called it ADS in the past, but it's called the precision targeting system on chips now. That doesn't work by itself on turrets because in turrets you're the gimbal itself that kind of leads the shots, right? So the thing I'm currently looking into is adding gimbals on turrets themselves, so that even in turrets you can go to the precision targeting mode and you have a little bit more gimbal control, and you can theoretically use manual and auto gimbal modes. That will all add to that. Also, the new aiming system has enough flexibility built in so that we can exaggerate the performance or the weapon performance of a turret. We can, for example, easily by saying, hey, this guy, like this weapon, if you use it on a turret, it's 50%, has 50% higher projectile velocity or so. So there's quite a lot of like stuff that's happening right now in preparation for moving all these features over to the PU. What I think you said, like, why is a Scorpion good, or a Scorpius good, but a Vanguard bad on the turrets? I don't really understand where the difference on the turrets are, because they basically are top-mounted turrets that go all the way around. So if there's like a difference in, I don't know, in gimbal speeds or something like that, that's just tuning. So I would assume that over time, like these values will be a little bit more streamlined.
Okay. Alex
Interesting.
2000 in the chat asks, what's the difference between armor, physicalized damage, and Maelstrom? Well, physicalized damage, the physicalized damage system is like the overarching umbrella. That is everything that determines that is involved in a systemic physics-based damage and destruction system of your ship. Ship, vehicle, outpost, whatever. Maelstrom is the destruction part. It's how those items break apart into physically based pieces, fly all over the place. Armor is the value of the materials. Whether it's everything has to have an assigned material. Is this part steel? Is this part concrete? Is this part sand, whatnot? And then the third part that's not mentioned in there is piercing and stuff, is ammunition and weapons and stuff, being able to pierce through those things to damage subsequent layers and stuff. All those things and one or two more things that are escaping me right now all make up what's called the physicalized damage system. And we're actually hoping to have kind of
those items on the side are from Twitch. I don't post those.
In the new year.
I'll never show you commercials
March or April.
or ask you for money or anything.
There's still a couple more things we want to come online to be able to show you. But to answer that very question,
I don't have Patreon or something like that. I don't need it. I'm just happy if you guys follow or you subscribe. It's all for free.
Switching into nav mode, no, but it will block the positive effects from being in nav mode. So if you are on a QED device, you will not enjoy nav mode speeds, but you will enjoy the lack of shields. So yeah, that's like you can always switch the modes, but the effects are the ones that will be inhibited.
Interesting.
So I mean, you can be in nav, but it's not really doing you any good.
Yeah, if you're getting attacked and you're on nav, you have an incentive to swap.
Here's an important question. Can we get the ability to drink a water bottle or eat food while in the cockpit? I wasn't being facetious about it. It's an important. It's being able to address your hunger and thirst while you're in the cockpit of your single-seating ship like a Gladius or something is pretty important. What can you tell us?
Isn't it an Inesh question? I don't know. Sorry. I mean,
Inez,
if you play games, like stay hydrated, that's important, right? Drink your water. Speaking of which.
All right, I'll see if I can follow up with Inez and get the answer.
I'm sorry, I really don't know.
All right, then we'll go back to atmospheric flight. No, we already touched on that one. How are ships without wings or large VTOL engines, such as the MSR, expected to handle an atmosphere, if at all?
Oh, you mean the ships that have the aerodynamic profile of a brick?
Yeah.
They will still fly. I mean, we
𝗙𝗶𝗶𝘀𝗶
discussed how well they will fly, but similar to the current aerodynamics model, like it would be unfair to lock out complete ships out of that experience and basically make it super realistic. It would also be very punishing if somebody buys an Aurora. I mean, Aurora is like the shape of a brick, right? So it doesn't have any lift at all. But also those they will fly. Not sure if we, for example, how we're going to tune it. I mean, theoretically we could give them a higher stall speed, so that people need to fly faster for prolonged.
So I wonder if there will be an announcement now,
their altitude or so, but I don't know yet. I mean,
or something else.
if a ship is sufficiently fast, it will always fly. But ultimately, also here it counts that the player experience is important, even if you have an aerodynamic ship. But like ships with like proper wings, that would probably just be a little bit better. Not that much better though.
I need those little fans that are in the winglets of the Aurora to work.
Oh yeah.
I need those to actually do something.
I've seen this.
He has always special ideas,
by some
Jared.
Decker, which was basically like parts of the Aurora like popping out and becoming wings. I really love that. But I'm not sure if the ship team is up for it.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not talking about hacked fan art. I'm talking about the wings have these little circular fans in them, just like the Connie does.
The Connie has these as well, or like I saw them at some point.
Yeah, but do they really do anything? Are they, with control surfaces, they're going to help? They're going
to. These look like more like hover things, not like control. Like control surface mode is for like control surfaces. They only are active when you're actually fast.
The Aurora has little wings.
Yeah,
it's a torpedo.
Take that offline.
All right.
He's kind of annoyed by all these questions.
Quantum boosting has a lot of potential for fun exploration and travel, but the shake seems very intense. Are there already conversations internally around reducing the amount of camera shake, or will there be an option in the menu to reduce this?
Yeah. So in general, when you see something on a demo like we did, or the thing that I started doing when I'm creating any kind of material for demos, I'm exaggerating the effects, because it's always easier to starting small and then getting like the max strength really right, and then have somebody come in and like tweak it down than the other way around. For example, other effects like the zoom when you do a G-force boost or something like that, somebody just turned it off, although we had this in for ages. That's why. So that's like the bottom line. Like these effects are really strong. And for quantum boosting, I don't think we actually did a shake pass. I mean, I think it might be maybe we did a shake.
My friend Suze, welcome, man. How are you doing?
It's likely that it is too strong and that we will dial down. There's this other question about whether you should be able to turn it off or not. In Squadron 42, yes, you can.
I'm very good.
It all off.
It's Friday. IAE is starting.
This discussion whether or not that should be possible.
We have a lot of news already.
Once you
so I'm good.
Like G-force effects or things like camera shake and so on.
We had a good stream so far.
You also have a much more stable aiming.
Awesome.
An aiming image in front of you, right? So we need to discuss that. I'm not sure if other PvP games like COD or so actually allow you to turn off camera shake. I think this needs to be discussed internally. So I cannot definitely say, yes, we can all turn it off. I don't know that. That's not up to me. That's a director level decision.
I think it's really difficult.
And of course, when you talk about
answering all these live questions,
camera shake pass and stuff, it could have a shake pass by somebody.
I hope you have a good meeting.
Like 15
Suze.
roller coasters back to back to back with nothing anymore.
I have to go back to work very soon.
Can't do 2 minutes of VR without wanting to throw up.
I just want to see what else they have to say.
Pass, review.
It's already 11 o'clock here.
I get it. I mean, like one of the most fun things that I did to Bayer at some point was let him test the camera system, like the first pass of the G-force systems, and he really got sick from that because he really can't. He's getting really motion sick, which is I'm sad for him. So I get it. Like there's an accessibility issue, but I cannot give like definitive answers there. But the issue is known, and we'll talk about this in time before we move it over.
And honestly, if you did, I wouldn't believe you anyway. Right now, it's too early in the thing. There's still too much development to go between here and there.
Yeah.
So anything can change. You know what they say? The only constant in game development is change. Will there be an option for a higher level of zoom in precision targeting mode for artillery ships like the Ares Ion and Perseus?
That's an interesting question. I mean, I'm not sure. We'll see. So what the gameplay is not about, we don't have sniper gameplay or something like that, right? Like if you fire from like 8 clicks with an Inferno or with an Ion against a target, This is not sniper gameplay because the bullet will be traveling for quite a couple of seconds before it goes there. So this doesn't really work. So I don't think having a super strong zoom actually helps. The other
What's
problem
this with his
that
gloves
you
on
have
his
a
hands?
tiny, like a zoom basically.
And I guess he's working from
just
home.
a couple of degrees, right? Once you get down to like, I don't know, 10 degrees or something like that, you have the problem that the background might look really, really bad. Like because then things like background texture resolutions come very much into play. Also, having such a strong zoom doesn't really add a lot. So,
I mean, if this helps with working on a keyboard,
strength are up for discussions.
I might get me some.
Ship it out with the first revision. We might even have it on different operator modes, where different operator modes have different kind of zoom strength.
Carpal tunnel. That might be true.
So there is the potential, but there's not like I cannot just flat out say.
He seems to work a lot on the keyboard.
Be, appropriate yet.
It's a bit of an FPS trope. I'm not saying it can't apply to spaceships. Just there's so many other things to do.
Yeah.
With the new changes in the atmospheric flight system, will some ships like the M50 or the Origin series, I guess the one.
Who knows? Maybe it's just
Origin
fashion.
100 series land like airplanes instead of with.
He just likes it.
Oh, I really would like to have that, but I don't see that in the near future. You mean because these actually have wheels, right,
yes.
on the landing gears? Yeah, I don't even know if they're actually if they're moving wheels. I don't know. I mean, I don't see this right now. Like all of our landing pads are like pads where you vertically go down. I haven't seen any runways. Like I would love runways, but I don't see that in the near future. But with the aerodynamic system or with the control surface mode, you can actually glide in there like you would actually land like that. So yeah, I guess we'll have to discuss it at some point.
Just do it. Just do it.
Whoa, Jesus, Jared.
Just do it. Just make them land like airplanes.
Okay.
Make them land like airplanes? That was the question? Oh, come on.
Thread about this, and this will get some.
Well, they have wheels. Some of the ships, like the Redeemer, they have wheels.
Don't want me to build a runway. If I build a runway, it will be.
Then we need a runway. Yes, he's right.
Blue, pink, and whatever. So it will not look good.
He got just back from dirt biking.
Let's talk about
maybe
weapons, or more specifically, ammo. Will ammo for ship weapons ever be decoupled from the weapon itself? Right now, ammo is basically inside the gun. But will ammo storage that varies by ship archetype and carrying extra crates of shells aboard larger ships be a thing we could expect to see?
We talked about this internally quite often because from a balance point of view, this is also what I would like to see, basically sacrificing hard points for bigger ammo storage or something like that. At the moment, we do not know how to properly do it. We had some talks with with Thorsten and the Resource Network people about how to do that, having ammo belts and so on. That could theoretically do that, but at the moment, we don't have a proper plan for that yet. Long term, we absolutely would like to have that because it also allows logistical mechanics behind that where you can just serve as an ammo bearer for somebody else and so on. So yeah, so nothing concrete yet. But in terms of balancing, it actually hurts us because sometimes our weapons are mounted on different types, and if I have a size 3 ballistic repeater on a medium fighter versus on a heavy fighter, I think on the heavy fighter it should have more ammo, right? Because it's just chunkier and bigger. And at the moment we cannot do this. So this is actually an annoying problem for us as well.
𝗏𝗏, he's not saying there's no ammo reload. He's saying will it be separated boxes and stuff. We still have, there are still ships like the Vulcan. What's the other one I'm thinking about and stuff and stuff like this, and there's still it's talking about just complete separation of every single ammo type from every single weapon, and he's saying he wants to do it. He's just saying there's no active in progress thing for it. At the
moment we can't do it. I'm not sure if we actually had different ammo types for the same weapon because usually we're balancing our weapons with a specific ammo type. But I mean this can also change. I mean at the moment there are bigger fish to fry first, but.
Why am I looking at me when Yogi's talking? There you go. I'm just telling you, you were talking, I was looking at my dumb face. I'm like, why am I seeing my dumb face when Yogi's talking?
I always see my dumb face when I start talk, because then my Zoom preview call swaps up to the other one, so I see me twice, just one time delayed. I would rather look at you into the face.
Yeah. No. All right. Let's see. What other big ones? I mean, we're in OT right now, so let's see if we can make sure we get some big ones while we got you here.
Okay.
Why the choice to go towards space drag style SCM combat? One of the unique elements that Star Citizen had was the free.
I'm going to jump into the game and have a look around. Don't think so.
Difference between ships. Did we drop 6 degrees? Or
If I do that, then it will be later this afternoon.
Drop 6 degrees of freedom. We just so I mean, it was always
Because I need to get to work now.
Well, theoretically, you could say clamp down.
I also have to work.
But,
have some lunch with my wife,
a speed limit, and
then we're gonna see what we're gonna do this afternoon.
And with the boost space,
The American dude is the head.
Comes from,
The head of what?
A little bit more dynamic. The thing is that we actually tested what fun combat engagement speeds.
You mean
So,
Jared?
I think like 80 months ago.
Or you mean the guy on the computer?
So I invited like people from PET and from BG, or from the BGPU team, and just had them play PvP scenarios in Arena Commander, but I turned off the acceleration, like the G meters.
Yogi is
so they didn't know how
lead
much they
of
accelerated,
development
they didn't know
for
how
a
fast
certain
they-
department.
And guess what kind of speeds they liked most?
No, the guy sitting on the computer is basically the head of all the community managers.
120 meters per second.
He's responsible for the
And I thought
community.
that was too low.
Jared
So,
Huckabee.
we basically pushed the button up a little bit far, but I'm pretty sure that the combat speeds we have right now.
I think he's lead content
they're actually
creator,
helping
something
combat
like that,
geometry and the fun in the game.
in
a lot.
CIG. I forgot his exact title,
Jared is so snarky today.
but he's doing this. Jared here, this guy, he's doing this for so long.
And then the chat is like, today? Just, as time goes on, I become more and more me. Sorry, everybody. Let's talk about we've talked a few times about flight surfaces and control surfaces and what happens if you don't have wings. But let's flip that here for this next question. Flight surfaces would obviously not function in all planets, as ailerons and rudders that work on Earth do not work on Mars and Venus, for example. So how will a ship's Earth Atmo-like flight control surfaces fare in other atmospheres like high density or low density worlds?
I mean, high density is good for aerodynamics, because then the rudders get much more, or your control surfaces get much more authority. Low density is basically the same case when you come in down to a planet. And the air in this case is so thin that you actually cannot turn your ship. So in this case, the thrust is actually helping you out.
Interesting.
The current control surface model actually has this transition period between 0 and 0.2 bar, or atmospheres. Sorry.
Yeah, runways are completely unnecessary.
I'm
Yeah,
not a physics guy.
I don't know why they put wheels on those ships.
The input or the acceleration output from the control surfaces and your thrusters are actually mixed, and they're being shrunken down the closer and more denser the atmosphere is. So when the atmosphere is dense enough, then the control surface fully take over. Until then, the thrusters still rotate you and so on. So there's this transition period, so it should work out of the box. If you go to a moon with like no atmosphere, it's your thrusters that are doing the work, not your control surfaces.
And let's see what we squeeze.
How long they are doing today?
Let's do a blue sky question.
I really have to go.
Blue sky.
What the heck? 10 minutes over already.
Vision for the future of large, non-capital ship combat. Paint us a picture with words, Yogi.
So non-large.
It says large, non-capital ship combat, but
okay. What is a
I mean, I just read that. That's what they wrote. Let's assume that they meant capital ship combat. I think that's probably what more people are interested in anyway. So paint us a picture.
Okay, so
don't write any checks, but just this is what you would like. This is what you would like if we get to do it. If all the cards fall where they're supposed to.
Okay, so far which this is not my vision. This is basically what like management is giving us, or game management is giving us. But what we see so far is that we have like dogfighting, and the bigger the ships are, the more the combat will turn.
Not including capitals, yeah.
Naval style combat. So when you have
𝗙𝗹𝗶𝘀𝗀,
big
you need a
ships
lot of
fighting
storage
against
for these games.
they will not necessarily be
And
like
fast
close, but they will
SSDs.
fight
The
over
best
relatively
are
large distances, so
Samsung
there's enough
980 or
space
990.
between to fight. They will fire long-range cannons, they will fire torpedoes, they will fire other things, and the gameplay there resolves more around DPS appliance and trying to get the shortest time to kill on the other enemy. So, and if you have capital ships, as opposed to fires, they're going to have very deep gameplay with the resource network, where you, I mean, Thorsten's the best person to talk about this, right? But where you maximize your damage output against other ships. It will also resolve, like the maneuvering for pilots will more resolve around exposing the strong sides of the ship. Like if somebody is focusing on the left.
But 𝗙𝗹𝗶, just check out the speed.
Like that, then they would, for example, turn the ship around to expose the other side. At the same time, you want to
Call out sick. I'm self-employed, guys.
The sides of the ship that have the most working turrets, or maybe the turrets.
I'm working on the side already here on my phone.
So that is roughly what we're going for. So large ship will mostly be naval style combat, but of course in 6 degrees of freedom still. But it will not be dogfighting.
Okay, and then as I think I might understand the question now, so that's capital ships. And what about the sub-capital? I think that's probably what they meant by non-capital, sub-capital.
They're interesting, yeah. So it depends on the ship, right? For example, if you take a look like a constellation, the constellation.
Well, no, let's go bigger than constellation. Let's look at like Polaris. I know there's all this argument about
Polaris.
Let's assume let's assume there's Javelin up here. Now let's get smaller. Perseus, Polaris, Hammerhead, those kind of things.
It depends on the ships and what kind of roles they have. I can't talk too much about the Polaris, but for example, the Hammerhead has a specific role in such like a big capital ship battle.
Capital ship combat. You heard it here first, everybody.
So it has a specific role, right? And the other ships, like it will care about the fighter cover. It would not fare well against similar sized opponents that are purposely built to take down similar sized ships. So it depends always on the ship. Like some ships have like they rely a lot on turrets. Other ships, like I'm just saying that, like I wanted to say the Constellation here because the Constellation is a very forward centric ship. It has like these massive size 5 mounts which face forward. So this thing, like a ship like that, is obviously not relying much on the turrets to do like the alpha damage against larger enemies. So there will be a transition period between the size of the ships and how they maneuver, but that's all combat details. But I mean, like the bigger the ship, the more it goes, the more it turns into this naval style gameplay.
That's the intent. I think you did well. I think you did well. It's one of those things like this is the capital ship gameplay. And
guys, if you don't know, people really don't like to be in interviews with him.
What is a capital ship and what isn't a capital
because
ship?
He is just annoying for developers.
It's smaller than a job.
He's making them crazy.
I don't have my whiteboard here with the full list and break it down.
The whiteboard.
Categories like what is a sloop or something like that. But the thing is, like, we do not have too many ships of these categories. So at the moment, like building a category about that is probably not that useful. We'll see how it all plays out.
But I think that's like that was where my dream for
take care about your facial hair, guys.
Citizen always was when I was a backer before I joined the company and stuff. My vision was my thing that always appealed to me was that capital style gameplay. Also like a cannonball run style race through 10 different star systems.
Well, the first thing they showed in the very first presentation was the Bengal.
Yeah, well, I mean,
and the Bengal is a huge ship.
We're getting there as all these fundamentals go in. There's, we're going to have to stop.
They bragged about the Bengal, and it's still not in game.
Here, eventually.
And I don't want to have it in game because the server would crash.
Cool. Just being real. I mean, it's got to happen
with players on the Bengal.
Yogi.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for hanging out. Thank you for
Facial cream.
answering.
Well, the new hair is coming soon.
Community, folks who are watching, we're going to
Okay.
I think we're doing a raid here. I think we're raiding 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 here in a few minutes.
𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏? Why not me?
If you haven't, check out yesterday's Inside Star Citizen with the reveal of the 𝗬𝗨. It's truly a one-of-a-kind spaceship. We were all super excited.
Oh, it's because I was not at CitizenCon, didn't introduce myself.
Yesterday's ISC. And then, of course, IAE starts today, day one. I believe it's Alien Day. I've seen messages about the website and all that stuff like that. You know, it is what it is. But keep trying. You'll be able
keep
to
trying.
Eventually. And then, of course, come back every day of IAE this week. There'll be different manufacturers.
So nothing about IAE
each and every
interesting.
day. And then be sure you.
It's the beginning of the IAE. There is no
day 17
video or
for the 𝗘𝗶𝘁𝗶𝘁. First reveal
discussion
here,
about the new alien ships, like a Q&A.
You can take that's a promise.
Set.
If you want to learn more about 𝗘𝗶𝘁𝗶𝘁, you can find John Crew at _JohnCrew on X, formerly known as Twitter. Ask him about the 𝗘𝗶𝘁𝗶𝘁.
Sheep gameplay.
What the 𝗘𝗶𝘁 is, what it does, how much it'll cost, when you can get it. It's a special social media promotion we're doing. The only way you're going to learn more about the 𝗘𝗶𝘁𝗶𝘁 is by messaging John Crew
sheep.
directly.
He's still saying sheep.
So look out for that.
My boss must be a jerk. I don't have a boss.
Jared,
I'm my own boss.
May not be my last
And
broadcast.
yes, I'm a
Probably
jerk.
Definitely be pre-recorded next week, regardless.
I kick my ass because if I
take
don't
care.
kick my ass, I don't make any money.
Bye.
Because sitting here watching Star Citizen with you guys, now they really rate 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏.
Okay, there we go. Now it's showing it's at Microtech. Close.
So,
nope, that's
he's already playing.
Lank. That's a cool name. Thank you very much for that. So I do need to relog, right? All right.
Let's see how he reacts.
Hey, what's up, Niku? Oh my good lord. All right. That's quite a raid. It's more than 4. Wow.
Wow.
Look at all these new people. Holy crap, what's going on, you guys? Welcome in. Good to see you.
All right. I'm not supporting other streamers, guys. We don't do that. But he's already flying the new ship. It's okay. So I'm surprised that the new ship is not here yet. Let's try to get to the Star Citizen website. Oh, the Q&A is already online. Okay. Very good. Let's see. That is the Raylan, we know that. And this is the Silent. $70. Okay. Few offers. So it is basically, let me write this down because I want to change my CCU offers here. I need to put this down. So you get it for 65 war bond and the normal price would be 70. Okay. I need to copy this in so this is live on stream as well. Anytime we are streaming. This is nice. And it's the GADEC. And it cost 65. Which means you save $5. Cool. All right, guys, let's save this. It should be in here as well now. We might have to change the all right, guys. also. Again, thanks everyone for watching. I will try to get online today, live here on stream, afternoon maybe. If not, tomorrow morning, 10 o'clock. I have to work a little bit, and we're going to check out these ships. We're going to check out maybe the showroom and talk about the news and play Star Citizen, of course. But yeah, I had a good time. Unfortunately, the live Star Citizen was not as I expected. I thought we do have a Q&A about a new ship and talk about the IAE in general. But yeah, they did not do that. But IAE is live. It's in-game. The new patch is here. You can, if you're a new player, you will be right there. It's a free fly. You can test every ship on the showroom floor. And so yeah, guys, just test the game. If you're interested in the game, you want to sign up, I have a link in my description as well. And you guys in the chat, thank you so much for attending. Thank you for your support. Thank you for being here with me and talk about all these things. I know we had a little hiccup in the beginning of the stream, and I actually have to find out what that is, why I don't see my chat window, which worked very fine until yesterday. I think I installed a new version of my streaming software, OBS, and I guess that caused some issues. I didn't check it yesterday. Stupid me. I should have made sure everything works still. I was assuming it did. No. Thanks, Sivian. Thanks, everyone. Kragan, thank you again for the nice chat we had in the beginning about your fleet. Your fleet is impressive. Your insight about all the ships and future gameplay is impressive. I hope we can sit down again and talk a little bit about newer ships, new concept, new gameplay very soon here during IAE maybe. I will let everyone know when we are online and live. But yeah, that's for now. I have to go back and work a little bit and take care about real life. And yeah, you guys stay safe, have a great weekend, and come back to see me again. I would be happy about it. 07, as many always do and say. And yeah, take care, guys.